What
This
if?
season, this season ruined Christmas for me, audience. I'm starting off with that.
Wait, was that the Red Guardian episode?
It was a back to back. I didn't think they could have gone any lower than the Red Guardian, but boy, did they save the best for Christmas.
The
Yes,
next part is the
Red
Red
Guardian.
Guardian episode had potential if they handled Bucky right. But Bucky was so
Mhm.
out of character for the first 2 minutes. Going forward,
So
it was
was Red
crazy with
Guardian.
that.
So was Red Guardian.
Yeah,
Honestly, he was really out of character. He was,
writers.
I
Did they
gave
not see
Red
the
Guardian
first
more
10?
leeway because we didn't know him as a younger man. So I gave him more
no, but
leeway.
No,
I
we
went back
saw
to
him
watch.
younger.
I went back to watch Black Widow, which was like around his Red Guardian. He did not act like this at this point.
Did
And even when
it?
he becomes the, even when he becomes the person that
You
they're,
mean he was like super serious child
Yes.
trafficker?
yeah, he's like
Yes.
serious, but he's like lightly goofy. And then even when we get to the modern day, he's not actually that. He's not like this. He has a
Yeah.
lot of heart. Like I remember.
I
all this-
disagree.
Funny
I
enough,
think the guy from modern day could become this person.
I think he wouldn't be that. Yeah, I think no, because like the Red Guardian and Black Widow rewatching this season, he has a lot of heart to him. He feels a lot more grounded.
Okay.
Like he jokes, but he has a lot of heart to him.
let's save it for when we get to the actual episode because I really want to rant about that so badly.
I'm
But,
not gonna lie to you guys. I didn't finish that episode. I just went to watch Black Widow, and I was like,
Okay.
So
Mhm.
it ends pretty much just him being an Avenger.
yeah, no, I saw that part. I saw the ending on YouTube.
So that's not really that's all that happened. Everything
keep this in mind,
happened.
Keep this in mind, audience. He was labeled as the greatest hero in Russia,
He
even though he left Russia and joined the American team.
in Black Widow, they heavily imply he was just trying to be like his country Steve Rogers, and then he just got shafted for it. That's literally what they imply in that movie.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We'll get to it, but yeah,
I
audience.
think they didn't do the Crimson Dynamo, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah. Okay, I guess you guys just want to get started.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Well, welcome to Comic Fanatic Live, the review of What If Season 3, audience. You're here with me, Cryptid Seeker 415. What if the series was actually good? I'm sorry. I mean, what if the season was actually good? That's what I want to see.
And you're here with me, Jake Tylenol, and I'm here to dare to ask the question: what if we made multiverse science make sense? Because it doesn't.
Mhm.
You're here with Ace Comics, Bricky Wool, and let me ask you this: what if these were actually what ifs?
And together, we maybe form the Fanatics, and we dare to ask the. No, I can't do it. I was trying to do like a whole.
Right now, we formed a triangle. Okay.
We form the triangle of Fanatics, and we review the news and reviews of the week. I got so thrown off.
We are the American Triforce.
Today on special Sundays, we sometimes review the biggest movies or the biggest TV shows that have come out. And today, of all days, as you can tell, we dared to ask the question of what if we watched season 3 of What If.
I want you to know this was against my will. If Witch was here, I'd probably not be here. But since Witch said they worked with me, I'll watch the season so we can get this episode out properly.
Yeah, and so I'm trying to think. Oh, I mean, we have socials. Yeah, we got that.
Follow us on Comic
Fanatic
Fanatic
69
on X, Twitter, and
2.0 on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you always get that part?
We have socials and we have a playlist of reviews. This will probably go up there as soon as I can figure out why I got logged out of the YouTube.
We have better movie reviews like Craven.
The superior Craven.
Even the CEO says it's a good film, right?
Yes.
The legendary Aquaman review, audience.
Followed by his sidekick, the legendary Aquaman, which we did a review on as well. We also did Deadpool, Wolverine. We also do some non-Marvel stuff like our Disney review and stuff like that. So, and tomorrow, right? Tomorrow we're doing Nosferatu. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Oh, we got a comment from our buddy Kara. What if Marvel started caring again? yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah.
I think this is another situation where they gave writers or showrunners way more leeway. Because to be fair, that's something people wanted them to do. But I don't think this guy was the right person for the job.
No.
But yeah, so that said, I guess we'll just jump in. We'll just start with our season thoughts, and we'll go episode by episode. So we'll go in. I guess we'll go in random order. Cryptid, you go first.
What did I think about this season? Well, audience, as I said in the beginning of this video, this season ruined Christmas for me. And I'm talking about Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And yeah, that should be all my thoughts. That should give you a more in-depth picture of what I thought about this season. So move on.
Austin?
It was not good. Anyway.
Okay. And then for me, it's around season 1's quality, so I don't really have a problem with it. I like most.
I disagree.
That's a great man. No.
We can go episode to episode. I like every episode.
There's one episode that hits as hard as top 3 of season 1 episodes.
I disagree. But I'll tell you this much: episode 3 and the finale were not it though.
Oh yeah. Oh, now that I think about it, yeah, it's because like one of the episodes was literally what you wanted to do with Earth in a certain Eternals movie, right? Yeah. Okay.
No, we'll get into that. But there's a lot of reasons why I like episode 5.
To be fair, that's not what we wanted. That was what the director, for some reason, thought they were going to get past. It happened.
I just like the argument, and we can get to that one later. But that's a whole different thing. But I just didn't like the episode 8, and I didn't like episode 3. But episode 4 up until the ending was pretty solid. I like 2, which is your episode, Cryptid. 2 has just one hole in it that I just don't like. I think that just is completely out of character. And I think for me, this season kind of goes back to, I think once the writing is better, for starters. Season 2 had this annoying habit of randomly inserting jokes, even in the most serious of circumstances, like forcing the humor in. This season, the humor was relative to the episode it was in. So if you had a serious plot, it was a serious story from start to finish. And if the joke was in there, it was supposed to be in there. That was right off the bat. It made a lot of the episodes more immersive for me. And I really appreciate it. Also, I think because of this, it went back to what I liked about season 1, where we got to explore characters in different scenarios. When we go back to season 1, one of my favorite episodes is the Doctor Strange one, because it focuses more on, we all know that Strange is obsessed. It can be obsessive with like his need to like prove himself. But what if that obsession was a bad thing? Because usually when he's obsessed about something, he's in the right. And this season, we had a lot of that going around. We had Sam Wilson. We got to see a side of Sam Wilson, like how far he's willing to go to believe in someone. We went back to basics with Bruce Banner about how scared he is of hurting people. When we went to episode 5, Mysterio. Oh my God, I love Mysterio. That episode. Mysterio is one of my top. I don't know about top 3, maybe top 5 Marvel villains. Seeing how creative he got with Stark Tech when he finally got his hands on it, and how evil he was, just like
I doubt you have 4 people above Mysterio in your top 5.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying he's up there. That's my point. Seeing how evil he was, getting to actually explore Riri Williams' character more, because in Black Panther 2, we got a little taste of it. But I like that we actually got to explore it, and how we actually got interesting things about her, like how her smarts is how she gets by, but like if that can't help her, she's quick to just kind of cave. I really did like that as well. And there's like so many of that throughout each season. Even Agatha, seeing more about Agatha, what she really wants, and how it doesn't have to be the way she wants to go about it. I really did appreciate that. There's so much of that this season going on that it reminded me a lot of season 1, what I liked about season 1. And that's not to say season 2 didn't try, it's just that the writing just wasn't that great. But yeah, I just think the faults of the season for me only come down to the finale in episode 3, because we'll get into it when we get there, but they had some huge glaring flaws. But yeah,
Speaking
Oh, so
of
you approved the bestiality episode? That's interesting.
He's an alien. So as far as I'm aware, Hollywood's an alien. So it's like at some point I just don't care.
Yeah, hey, you know, Rocket is considered an alien who just happened to look like a raccoon, right?
He's a raccoon. No, he's a raccoon.
Well, no, I mean in the comics. In the
Rocket
comics,
is actually a raccoon, but he does not. It's not one point in life where he will sit here and say, "Oh yeah, I want to hit that." All right.
Yeah, that's fair. That's his prerogative. But he's an actual raccoon. That's different than an alien coming down and just having a purpose.
Okay. I just want to read some comments here. Kara saying, "What if the chicken crossed the road? That would have been better than bestiality."
I would have ran it over.
Also, I'll tell you the reason.
I made fried chicken out of that chicken.
I'll tell you another reason episode 4 didn't bother me, because it was a sequel to an already established What If, which was basically like what if like Thor and Loki never grew up together, and so like it was just a sequel to that. So I like the sequel.
Gotcha. All right, Tevia saying, our buddy Tevia's here saying hello. I feel.
Howard the Duck isn't an alien though. He's literally a duck. Where he's from?
Oh, okay.
Okay, we got bestiality.
He's from a world called Duck World, but those ducks, they're actual built up or ducks.
So like, did they grow up like him, or is he the only one like that?
They're evolution of a natural duck. They're rocket, but a rocket with a natural thing. They're not actual alien DNA stuff. They're literally human duck, like duck Earth DNA. Is what I'm saying.
Okay, I'm gonna. I don't doubt you.
I'm gonna to make sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Google it to make sure.
All right. Okay. Regardless, it is unnatural to see a human lay an egg. Well, okay, let's go with that. Kara saying,
we literally just saw an alien Romulus. Get it correct.
You want me to flash back to that, but all right, let me just finish the comments. Kara saying, I feel the simple yet emotional, impactful premise are the best. And Tevia saying, What if season 3 was wasted potential, in my opinion? Yeah, I agree with you there, Tevia. So yeah, get ready for a rant.
I think it's wasted in the sense where it's like they are what ifs, but they're not the what ifs that like pertain to like I would just love to see what ifs that actually like I don't know, things like alternate endings to MCU movies, like things you like question, that's what
I think that's a problem. That was season 1 was sold on. These are what ifs to situations that and they're just random what ifs.
Yeah, we had and what if, just to recap, people, even though I didn't like the episode, the Captain Carter episode is like a what if based off the MCU. Yeah, all of like most of these are like what ifs from the MCU. And season 3, they are what ifs from the MCU, but they're like really like you gotta stretch some things and change some things. They're less alternate endings and more like we're getting into alternate timelines at this point. Which is
that's why a big part of us dislike the season 2, because he did the same thing to the degree where it's like what if Nebula joined Nova Corps, but the real what if what the Guardians weren't there? So that the whole thing hinges on. And it's like there's a lot of that going around.
Yeah, Kohori, which I mean, like it's like they stretch to make themselves the what if.
Yeah, what Kohori should not be a what if.
Kohori is
that is a whole different story.
Kohori is technically a what if, but it is a stretch to do it. So my favorite episodes in season 2 were like what if Hela found the 10 rings. 1602 I like because of the plot twists, things like that. But
yeah, you just like the idea of Thanos getting slaughtered for the billionth time, didn't you, Jake? In that episode, that didn't happen
in 1602. 1602 was what if Steve.
No, I'm talking about the one with Hela.
Hela didn't fight Thanos in that one.
Don't you remember? At the end, like she literally comes
the season finale. The season finale, she beat them.
Yeah.
No, in that exact episode, it literally ends with her going into Thanos as after he invaded Gamora's homeworld.
Yeah, I forgot that happened. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So, all right.
Well, but anyway, at least it's like the only time I'm like, yeah, maybe she would just kill him. Yeah. This is the one person I'm like, maybe it is what happened.
Yeah. But I guess we already have like 8 episodes to get into, so I guess we should.
Let's go for it. Let's go for the first one. Is what if Hulk fought the mech avengers?
I feel like I feel like the premise is a bit silly, but once you get past it, I think the rest of it's fine. I think
this is just a toy
I
advertisement.
yeah.
Yeah, come on.
This is them trying to resell that comic they made a while back. Remember they made the comic Mech Strike late last year
I forgot
or the year
about
before that,
that
and
one.
didn't do that well.
I think the idea that like the build up to it is fine. I think the idea that Tony Stark could make 5 giant suits in the time span an army of Hulks was ravaging the planet is a bit nonsensical to me. And
No, they got that from. I didn't realize it. They got that from what it called Next Avengers when he made the fake Avengers.
Yeah,
I
I just don't
I
believe.
guess.
I don't even believe that would work. I just don't. But if once you get past that, character-wise, it's great. It does a lot. It does a lot of good stuff for Sam Wilson and a lot of good stuff for Bruce Banner. Again, we get back to the basics with Bruce Banner, which
That's the only good thing about that episode.
Yeah.
He's
also,
not
I
acting like
did it though.
He's not acting like Mark Ruffalo audience. So
he's
that's
acting like his original character in this universe.
I don't agree with how they did the part. Like boarding him with more gamma radiation would not do what it happened. Like what happened. You know what I mean?
It would be a real gamma radiation when turn him into the Hulk. But I see your point. I see what you're getting at.
Yeah, I mean, no. I believe the giant kaiju thing will happen. I don't believe it will separate them and then it'll happen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I just find it weird that there's like this quantum leap of logic to say that a friendship between Sam Wilson and Bruce Banner will result in the Hulk turning into a basically Godzilla and all these Gundam-sized mechs coming out for the Avengers.
I have not seen the guy talk to dude one time. Then the moment when he could have been friends during the 5-year time skip, and one of them were dead. So
it's exploring the idea if Banner had like a real friend that looked at him the way Sam could, how ashamed he would be that his friend would always have to deal with this, and this will push him back into like relapsing into wanting to cure the Hulk. And I think that's fine.
But the what if would have to be like based on that friendship, but the friendship they in the MCU they don't have.
I don't think it has to be. I mean, these are like I don't mind the what ifs being like we're making up dynamics. I mean, I don't mind.
I do. That's not a what if then.
No, they are what ifs. It's like what if these two met and one of these developed a friendship, which is fine. I think my problems with what ifs is like when it strays like too far. Like if I could just find like an episode, let me go back to season 2 recap because I know there's like one as an example I can use.
Well, I know what you're saying, but it's like the what if should be based on what we know, and that relationship is something we never had or know, and that's not the linchpin of the what if though.
It is. The what if is the relationship. It is the linchpin. This scene right here on the screen is literally Sam's friendship saving Hulk.
I seen it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
After,
so like, it is
like I said, what if Bruce Banner had a true friend? It's what if Hulk turned into a giant kaiju?
But that's the premise. The reason why he does that's the title.
No, that's what I'm saying, Jake. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like if the what if is what he turned to a kaiju, it should be based on what we know of Bruce Banner, not what if he had a good friend off screen with a relationship that never existed.
It's based off his fear.
Because if they wanted to do that, they could do the same thing with Black Widow. Why did it have to be Sam? You know, the person who actually had the relationship in the MCU?
Because this season's exploring Phase 4 characters, and so they're exploring Sam because he's in Phase 4.
I understand that. That doesn't change what I just said. Because they could have did a different episode if Sam is actual friendship.
I know they could have, but this is a way to explore how Sam deals with crises like these and how Hulk deals with crises like these. I think that's fine.
Yeah, cool. That Phase 4 character.
Yeah, because we're using Sam as the main character. But yeah, it's also focusing on Hulk too, who also is in Phase 4, yes.
Gotcha. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's all just to sell toys. That's why I see this episode as. But, so, all right. Any other final thoughts on this before we move on?
Not really. I think.
How you feel about Moon Knight being here? How about that? Y'all just skip
over
Moon Knight.
I forgot about that too because this season it seemed like it was trying to give more spotlight to a lot of the Phase 4 and 5 characters that got introduced, But it has been years since we saw those characters pop up. So when we got to see them in this episode, I was like, wait, that's Shang-Chi? Oh, wait, that's Moon Knight? Huh?
I think in that episode, I don't even recognize Moon Knight was in there. To someone pointed, I was like, "Oh, that is Moon Knight, isn't it?" Like, who is? I was.
Yeah. You just see people in the screen audience. That's the thing. And like, it wasn't until you actually saw their mech suits for like a good 5 seconds, and like, oh, okay, that has the Moon Knight insignia. Oh, okay, that robot looks like it has the 10 rings on his hand. Okay, so that must be Shang-Chi, I guess.
Yeah.
You know?
Also, Red Guardian this episode, again, I feel like this is out of. I know we don't see a lot of Red Guardian fighting. I just feel like it doesn't match up with like what we learn about him in the actual canon, where like, because he's supposed to literally be, well, he's like jokier, yes, but he's supposed to be the Russian version of Steve Rogers. That's the way they characterize him. And so I don't.
If you mean fight wise, we've seen his own movie that he's not as good as Steve Rogers.
Yeah, he's not as good. Yeah, no, I agree, but I don't think he would run though. I just don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong though.
This guy does not feel like he spent a day in the military. Like, I would think they would want to chisel away any of the goofiness of this guy, but no, he's a buffoon, audience. Yeah. That's what Red Guardian is.
Yeah.
That's how I felt about him in Black Widow, though.
I thought that was already watched. Like I said, it's already watching. I realized he's not really that bad. He's not.
We saw a serious side of him in the first 10 minutes of Black Widow.
But even later, there is a serious side. It's more jokey, but there is a serious side to him later in the film as well.
Okay, I really want to save all my thoughts for when we get to that episode. You guys want to move on?
Yeah, we can go to the next one. Yeah.
Okay. For the sake of time, let's move on. Next episode. What if Agatha went to Hollywood?
I think my only problem with this is Kingo. I think that's my only issue with it. Other than that,
oh, you're saying you're annoyed by a Celestial? Oh, sorry, an Eternal, Jake.
My problem is that Kingo is acting out of character because this is based off him in the movie, but he actively chose not to side with Cersei because he believed in the divine plan. He was actually he legit believes it. He just didn't want to fight against anybody. So for him to give that all up just for a movie deal is that seems.
He's just doing this for the fame, man.
The guy who's already in the movie for thousands of years at this point, by his own words.
Yeah.
He wants to inflate his ego.
He doesn't need a movie deal.
Yeah. This is your figurehead, Jake. So yeah.
It's not a figurehead. I think
Barra said this was a merely entertaining premise. Yeah. The whole thing, I believe.
Yeah, but for whatever reason, audience, Agatha wanted to get the power of the Celestial that's in the Earth, so she figured to do this, she needs to go to Hollywood. That leads to them creating an incantation and her taking the powers of the other Eternal.
How do you feel about the extra stuff in this What If, where it's the film being directed by Howard Stark, who should be dead?
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
No. At this time, he shouldn't be dead. This is still around the 50s.
Oh, yeah. Because he dies in 91, I think.
Yes, he dies when he's in. When he's
you still be like, oh yeah, this super genius man is going to be directing film.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, they did kind of explain that to say that when people were asking him, okay, what about your company's weapon manufacturer for wars? And he's saying, wars of the past, movies are the future. So he's going to be focusing his time on his movies.
And some of the liberties that the show at this point is just kind of when we do these what if, you just have to accept that some things have been tweaked to make this premise get to here. So we don't really. So in the show,
I think they should go out their way to pick premise that work with what we know of characters.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In the comics, we see the origin point. So when we see Spider-Man keep the symbiote, we see the decisions that led to that moment, and then we see the after effect.
Yeah.
For whatever reason in the show, just to get the plot moving, they'll just be well, you just have to accept that some things altered to get us here, as opposed to us just seeing when they got there. So that's just kind of what it is.
It feels like the Flash time travel, where there's a time bullet. So random stuff before this moment came and stuff after this moment came. You don't know what, but it did.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
We got a comment saying this. Kara saying this immediately was an interesting premise.
yeah,
We got a cool design of Agatha at the end, and she got the punch of Celestial. Those elitist snobs.
Agatha's Agatha's character being explored through her getting everything she wanted, I really did like. And I do, while I don't agree Kingo would slide and let her do this, I do understand why they made it Kingo because of the reasoning they gave Agatha to not be evil. I was going through what other Eternal could make the same message and give that to, because Agatha at the end of the day just wants the attention. Kingo's argument is like, well, it doesn't have to be for something bad.
It's so crazy they went with that premise when her own show just like revealed like the reason she's evil on that stuff because her kid died on an extra thing, and that don't seem to have changed.
Yeah, at least from what I say, I didn't get to finish that show.
So right now she's even closer to the point where her kid died. She should be like way worse.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I didn't finish the Agatha show, so like I can't really speak to that. But I do. But if there are discrepancies between that and this, that is a dock against the episode. I do agree. But yeah, I did. But I did like seeing the exploration of that though. And I did like the ending. But Kingo was really the only part of it I didn't like. But I understand why they felt they needed it for the premise to work. So whatever. If it bothers people, I don't blame them. But it is what it is. So
I think people will be more bothered about people just casually reaching the celestial power level.
Yeah, that is true. I think Agatha, because Agatha is known for stealing powers, I think that's the only reason I didn't like it, but I was like,
but stealing magic and stealing celestial power cosmic, like two different things.
Yeah. We're going to have a worse example of this later this season where I will absolutely rail on it. I let it slide here, but it's going to get to an egregious point when we get to the finale, if you know you already know where it's going.
Yeah. We had another first appearance in this episode, not just Kingo, but we had Jarvis' first appearance.
We saw Jarvis. No, he was in Endgame and he was on the Agent Carter TV show.
Oh, I didn't know he was an Agent Carter. He was in.
I said in What If.
What if? Okay, my bad.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah. Different. Jarvis was cool in Agent Carter, I'll tell you that. No, so his wife was awesome too.
I refuse to believe it.
Huh? No, you didn't. Did you watch it? Oh, come on.
Anyway, what if the Red Guardian stopped the
wait.
episode?
You have to wait. You have to wait for me to bring up the picture, man. Now I'll say it. What if the Red Guardian stopped the Winter Soldier audience? There you go.
What if the Winter Guardian stopped the Red Soldier?
Okay.
So because I didn't watch the episode, I'll let Cryptic go.
Like, look at that picture itself. That's where everything wrong with this premise right there. What is he doing? The greatest assassin of all time is mushing this man right now.
Audience, I don't know how the Russian government ever thought it was a good idea to give this buffoon to waste a super soldier serum on this buffoon right here. He is the worst soldier in history, dude. Like we all know what the mission was for Bucky, right? In the main continuity, yeah, he comes in, he kills Howard Stark and his wife, and gets a serum. Everything is a success. Yeah, moving on to the next. The only difference in this situation was the fact that Red Guardian insisted that he be on this mission, and he fucks up every single step on the way. Like,
keep in mind, in Black Widow, the mission the Ohio mission was so important to the Red Room's plans that they sent him on it. They sent him and his wife on it. Yes. They were like top-tier agents. That's the only reason they were there.
Great you should bring up that point, Jake, because keep in mind, that was around the same time this was happening right here in this What If. He even mentioned, like, they wanted me to go on a mission in Ohio. No, I want to go on this mission with the Winter Soldier instead, you know?
Wait, credit, read the chat.
Oh, okay, hold on a sec. This one was funny, yes, with Red Guardian, but really didn't go anywhere interesting. They just handed up. They just handed up too much on the Red Guardian. This is supposed to be him in his prime, you know? The version we saw of him in Black Widow for the majority of that film, that was supposed to be like Red Guardian after he was pretty much broken and disgraced.
Mhm.
You know, the years he was in that cold
He's been in prison
prison.
for like 30 years. Well, 20 years.
Yep.
He
People
was worried that
humiliating him with his you were the Red Guardian, you know, or whatever. It just broke him.
he was worried that people had forgotten about. I mean, there's a really like low key fucked up scene in Black Widow where Red Guardian is sitting with Yelena. And Yelena's like upset because like her family is just not believing they're a family. And Red Guardian's trying to cheer her up, and then she's like, "All you care about is like your time as the Crimson Dynamo or some shit." And and you see Red Guardian just sitting there for a minute, like he's trying not to correct her. But he's like, "I'm the Red Guardian though." Like the reason it's fucked up is because he cares so much about his image, he won't just let it go for his adoptive daughter. That's how much like he's worried people have forgotten him at this point. Like it means everything to him if people know his name. So that's why he's a bit more sillier. That's why he likes the suit more. He's desperate. So
his body
I still disbelieve the idea that Steve Rogers goes under ice and they decide to disgrace their own Winter Soldier, and I mean their own Super Soldier at that point. I feel like the moment Steve Rogers goes under, you're pushing your Super Soldier as hard as you can.
Exactly, you know, or at the very least, you have this whole program of super spy agents, right? You figured you will want to use the Super Soldier Serum on them as opposed to this buffoon right here, you know?
Well, the reason Red Guardian, I think, goes to president. He thinks it's because he kept speaking truth to power. Like he was talking about against the Soviet. Like he was criticizing the Soviet Union and all this stuff. And that's when he starts going to prison.
Jake, at this point, I'm pretty sure they just put him in prison because otherwise, like he seems like he heavily insistent on going on missions, right? Yeah. But based on how his performance is in this episode, the Red Room is like, oh no, we cannot send this buffoon into missions. He will compromise every single mission we send him on and put him in jail.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I think that's the worst part about not having a lot of information on this character. Because you can argue a lot of stuff. Maybe he was serious out before the mission started, and then he started making goofy ass mistakes when the mission starts happening. I don't know. Like, so you don't get anything with this dude.
You just see the way he was running, audience. He runs like, like he's a freaking Scooby-Doo character in certain scenes, you know?
And I think the reason people get this misimpression, I think feel like the reason the writers get this misimpression is because I was so sad about this when I realized his only fight scene in Black Widow was against Taskmaster.
He gets that.
Yeah, because that's like horribly whooped, and it's like, well, that's because he's like out of shape, and like Taskmaster has like everybody's abilities. That's not really fair to that's not really fair to him at this point.
Yeah, Red Guardian doesn't have a shield or anything at that moment, you know.
Yeah, he's just getting back into it. Like, I don't think that's fair to base his entire character off that fight scene. It's not.
Well, that's what we're going to get, especially in his upcoming appearance in Thunderbolts. They're going to hand this up.
That's the worst part. He's still just out of shape. Everything.
Yeah. So audience, what ends up happening? Like Red Guardian's like trying to prevent the Winter Soldier from actually killing Howard Stark, and so what happens? Winter Soldier doesn't kill Howard Stark, and those 3 packets.
Yeah, I didn't understand that part though.
Yeah, like, dude, you're a soldier.
Why? Yeah, you're a soldier. You of all people should be killing people as well. Like, a Russian soldier? Yeah,
Russians.
So,
you're notorious for being cold-blooded.
Actually, he cold-blooded kills people at the beginning of the movie.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't understand his whole point about that.
It was weird, and it just gets worse from there. Like, for God's sakes, audience, Winter Soldier is an asset to the Russian government, right? Red Guardian actually helps the Winter Soldier break out of his own brainwashing.
Yeah.
What the heck, dude?
Like, I don't think he I gave him that one though. I'm not gonna lie, because I don't think he realized the situation. It was just like, bro, I'm connecting with this guy. I'm enjoying my time. Like, I got it.
It's still resulting in a sabotage of your own country's assets.
Yeah, also, keep in mind, he was so against. The only reason that's out of character too, because again, going back to the Black Widow movie, when Natasha tries to save Yelena at the opening of the movie, he's the one who says like, no, like Just go with like he doesn't mind a child that he spent years with, or a year. I think it was like a year. Going to get brainwashed and her ability to reproduce taken away. So like, it's weird that like now all of a sudden he's like, yeah, you know, he believed in the Russian cause. He just wasn't like he might have disagreed with like policies, but that's about it.
Yeah.
So
I just found it funny that he was so that his world broke when he found out the Russian military was working with some capitalists in America. Only for the end of the episode to be him moving to America and literally joining an American team and still being called the greatest Russian hero in history.
yeah,
That's like saying Steve Rogers is the greatest American hero after the fact that he goes to Canada and joins the Alpha Flight. You know how humiliating
like
that has to be?
doing the Captain Hydra. They're like, yeah, Steve Rogers, still the greatest American hero.
I mean, like, do you know how embarrassing that has to be if you're telling me your country's national hero decides to join another country's team?
yeah.
Yeah, dude, that is humiliating.
That's
That is
why I wanted so bad for them to like introduce the Russian Guard and the actual Crimson Dynamo and stuff. So I feel like they would do that to get back in America for the Red Guardian situation.
That could have been something, you know, but instead we got this whole goofball of an episode, which, man, it's sad because there were a couple of lines here that I thought could have worked for serious moments, right? One of the lines I liked here, right, was when he was upset at the fact that, you know, they were setting in the Winter Soldier, and what does Red Guardian say? That Hydra trash, he's not even Russian. Like, if this was a serious character, that could have been something to explore. Yeah, because like Red Guardian would take issue with the fact that a non-Russian person is fighting for his military, for his country, for his government, you know. But again, it's just he's a goofball in this.
Also, that means that this gives Hydra direct connections to the Red Room. By the way.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you have to somehow explain that red star on Winter Soldier's arm somehow, you know? Like,
But it's also funny because
we know the Hydra started in Russian tech, though. They didn't have to be like all. It comes back to the old comic Dick used to make, where it's like, bro, I want to episode all these like companies, just all these groups, like integrating each other and stuff. We're like, oh, Hydra's rising up, but the red room's rising up, and they all like infiltrated each other. That's basically how it felt. For me.
Which is funny because again, another thing I forgot about in Black Widow that actually did happen, where the Red Room was investigating Shield, and they were like, "Oh, this is like Hydra," and then they were taking the stuff they needed to make the brainwashing thing as well. So they took that from Hydra because Hydra was making it, and then they perfected it. So.
Which is also funny because you remember that one guard that was in that room that Zemo took hostage to get to the Winter Soldier. Remember, he was a Russian military agent. Turns out he was a Hydra agent.
That's
so
right,
yeah. So
it turns out they might have been Skrulls too. Who knows?
Might as well. Let's see what else. What else egregious happened in this episode? Well, at least we found out that it was Obadiah Stane who informed the Red Room on giving the mission to kill Howard Stark. Like, I guess that's some lore building. I guess
like that. Then why did he go out his way to get like some random guys to kidnap Tony instead of the Red Room, who we know will probably finish the job?
That's why I think it's the what if. No, that's true because the what if is just what if Red Guardian interfered, so that would be
That's why we talking about it. I think the liberties go too far. Like over their episode, I think you're more forgiving about some of the stuff than me, but when you do stuff like this, especially stuff that alters potential MCU information, I think it should be more straightforward.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, and also, audience, another tidbit as to why Red Guardian is the worst soldier in history. You remember that one pack that's all that's left of the Super Soldier Serum in this episode? Red Guardian literally breaks it.
Yeah.
No, well, that'll make him the worst. He actually said, since they're betraying me, I'll betray them.
And that is probably the main reason he sided with Natasha and Black Widow, to be fair. I guess.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. I can't believe he just showed up. They did like the Avengers 1 scene with him just popping up and like Natasha, like they get him and Natasha one scene.
But he was never frozen, so why does he look still as young as he did in '81?
I know. Just for comedic gags, audience. For comedic gags.
Yeah. Oh well.
So this episode ruined Christmas Eve for me, audience. Just to let you know, I was like, oh god, they could have done something with Red Guardian seeing his serious side, but they went goofy. Now let's move on to the next one. Unless you guys have final thoughts.
No, I'll switch over to this one.
Gotcha.
I wish he had a cool.
What if? Yep. Okay, so what if Howard the Duck got hitched? This is the episode that ruined Christmas for me, audience, on the 25th. Because I swear to God, I swear to God, audience, like there was like 30 minutes left of Christmas, right? It was around like 11:30, and I said, "Oh wait, I still have to watch this, the latest episode of What If." All right, let me watch this episode. You couldn't let me enjoy Christmas for a full day, Marvel. You couldn't let me have that, you know?
I like this episode up until the third act, and I think that's what it's gonna. I think for like, except for the next episode, I think every episode is gonna have that problem. I'm gonna say until the third act, this was a pretty solid episode. I think
bestiality, man, bestiality.
I again in my head, Howard's an alien, so it doesn't bother me.
A woman laid an egg.
Yeah, it's from an episode.
Oh, did Robin? You don't think people crying about that?
Right.
Wait, what? What was that? Austin?
Robin laid an egg.
Yeah, that's true.
That was a Christmas Carol, right?
It's from a sillier timeline, and it's the sequel. First off, I already like What If sequels. I wish if the series was longer, like if we got like 16 episodes a season, which I will have to bring up that point later. I actually wish we got a couple more of these sequel What Ifs, but that's just me. I understand why they can't all be like that because we don't have time. But
Tevye here agrees with me. This was a dumb story.
I like it. There's no really deep philosophical reason why I like it. I just think it's fun. I like Darcy and Howard having a baby, and they're like, this is so stressful. I don't know what to do. I just want to break. And this turns into this slowly escalating plot where it starts off like this simple, we gotta save the baby from one thing. Then it's like another thing. There's like 6 other things. I thought that was all funny. I think where it crosses the line is one, Nick Fury just acts out of character because this is the same Nick Fury from Nick Fury's Long Weekend. So it's, I don't know why he's acting so silly.
Hey Jake, remember, we're not calling him Nick Fury anymore. He's Samuel L. Jackson from now on.
Yeah. Well, this is back in season 1 when he was Nick Fury. Okay, this is that same Nick Fury. But now he is Samuel Jackson. And 2, Thanos shows up. And Thanos had a funny line, by the way. He's like, "You called me over here for a fucking
game." My God.
I thought that was funny. And then he joined in on the joke. And I was like, okay, well, now this is not
Dude, the Black Order joined in on the joke, man. Like, the whole team.
I understood why it was so important, but I like Thanos just coming
No! They were just literally told that was a magic egg. Oh, okay, let's call Thanos.
Yeah, I would like that they were just like, let's investigate. You know what I mean?
Think about it though. I feel like Thanos would have showed up and then be like, "Wait, if everyone's here, I'm just gonna go get Infinity Stone."
Yeah.
Literally every major force here, I'm gonna go rob these people blind.
You have the army of Dark Elves audience. You have the army of Frost Giants. You have Zeus popping up with his army. You have the Black Order. You have Shield's forces. Like all, and yet magically somehow Darcy and Howard were outrunning and dodging all their attacks.
I think it's like it follows the absurdity of what I liked in episode 7, like the original episode it spins off from, like how absurd it got. Even though they never would fight like this in the MCU, like having the comedic moment where Thor is fighting Captain Marvel and they're going all over the world and you see the names of the countries they're fighting. Like, it's the silliness of that episode I liked, and it's still here. So I did like this as a sequel. I just think, again, the third act, it's funny till it's not. I think that's really my issue with it. They literally
defeat the whole army audience by literally singing and dancing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the part where I'm like, okay, well, I get what
Thanos got killed. Thanos, and like 5 different armies all got slaughtered by an egg.
Yeah, I get. Well, the egg part, I knew the egg was going to kill everybody. At this point, that was the only way the joke could go. But I think the singing part was like too much. I think Thanos' behavior became Nick Fury and Thanos' behavior became too much for me. Again, it's like those last 10 minutes were just too much for me, and that's where I kind of like, all right, this is dropping down. So yeah, but
I swear this is the episode that nearly made me tap out of this What If season, because like I knew going forward that this character was still going to have to be an essential part for the finale of this, and
This
boy.
character was
yeah, we'll get there. That I actually didn't mind where that led to.
No. Well, Jake, I assumed by the time we got to the finale, the baby would still be in this status, like still a baby,
Yeah. There's a lot of like, as much as we'll get there, but there's a lot of problems I have with the second to last episode. As much as I liked it enough, but
Kara saying eggs.
Eggs.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Grandmaster was here too, audience. I'm getting sick and tired of Grandmaster at this point, man. Like, I'm not enjoying anything he's in. He is kind of like foreshadowing, like that this is going to be a goofy moment, basically. You know?
I wish the Collector was the main villain of this episode, like the main villain of this episode, because that would be his thing. Like he would want that egg. He'd be like, yeah, fuck, give me that. That's interesting.
Anything good to say about this? Again, these two episodes ruined Christmas Eve and Christmas itself for me, audience. So yeah.
Like I said, it's just funny till it's not, and it just goes too far with the joke, and that's really all I have to say about it. But.
Yep. All right, let's move on to the next one. Hold on a sec. Who wants to do this one?
I'll do this one because it is my favorite episode this season for multiple reasons. The emergence. So actually, as much as like I don't like, if you've seen our Eternals, I don't know if we did it here or we were practicing. I don't mind. I don't mind half of the Eternals saying like "fuck it," we go with Arishem, because like if you really look at the divine argument, like the cosmology of what they're saying, the correct choice is that Earth has to die, even though it's not a choice I agree with, but it is the correct choice. I don't mind that. I do find it silly that the planet is still alive while it is broken up, but I understand why. It's more like for the theme, which is finding hope in hopelessness. But I think above all, what I did like about this is Mysterio being an evil motherfucker.
Yeah,
so evil.
They upgraded his villain status in this episode, audience. He was frightening. He definitely was.
Really cool, and he also, I like the way he used
the Stark tech.
Yeah, I like the way they combined the Stark tech and the Mysterio tech to make an army. I would actually like to see this premise explored. An army where you're fighting them, but like a lot of them, you don't know which one is real. There's like, it's clearly an army, but maybe half of them aren't there, and you can't tell which half at any time.
Tevia saying, I don't get this story. Why use a Spider-Man villain to fight Mysterio?
I think he's asking why not use Spider-Man to fight Mysterio. I think that's what you're trying to get at. And to that purpose, because we already saw it, so there's really no point in doing it again.
Yeah, and to be honest, like I know this is supposed to be like about a Riri Williams centric episode. You know, she doesn't really have major villains to fight, so you kind of have to have her borrow someone else's villains. You know?
Yeah. And I did like the exploration of
her being the start of this episode, though, in the sense of I remember Jake earlier talking about how it's cool to see if she can't use her brain, she'll just give in and stuff like that. But it's like there's no basis of that in MCU for me to be like, that's a good idea or a good team, because I don't know if that's going to carry over. Actually,
which is why I always agreed with them saying that we need the TV shows first or the movies first before we do the what ifs. But since we're not getting that,
by the way.
Keep this in mind, Jake. I'm pretty sure while they were making this series, they assumed projects like Ironheart would have been released already. You know, that's why we get the villain of Ironheart popping up in the next episode. We'll get to that.
And because of that, I'm just going to use this as the basis to just see like what do they do with Riri. And I think everything they do with her is interesting enough. Like she's not like my favorite character by far, but I did like how interesting it was, like how how much her smarts carried her through life. Like, as she feels like, as long as I can do something, as long as I'm smart enough to get myself out of this, I'm fine. And going up against someone like Mysterio, who broke Peter, like in the main timeline, breaks Peter down emotionally because of how manipulative he can be. I think that was a great pairing of like someone who's sure of herself versus someone who literal power is to make you doubt yourself. Also, I thought they were a good pairing of hero and villain. And also I liked White Vision in this episode. I was like, holy shit, like this dude's like so fucking intense. I like that.
I mean, he's cool only until Riri beats him. I didn't like how he got defeated.
I didn't mind how, I think so. It's the way they framed it. I don't mind her beating him. I think it's the way they said, like, she's like, I need 12 hours to finish this, and then like one's like, you got 7 minutes. She's like, 7 minutes. I'm like, yeah, then you should be dead, right? Like, yeah. It's like if she said I need 10 minutes to get a prototype working, and he's like, you got 7. I'm like, okay. I think that they should just like cut the line down. But I do agree that like the timing is a bit like kind of okay. This is just plot at this point. And I do like the final battle again, playing the Mysterio's strengths. I do remember at some point, because I already knew how he played Peter, I knew at some point there's like, okay, so like some of this is an illusion. Once she lost her ability to see things, I knew like, okay, so Mysterio's like tricking her at some point. It's like I know when the trick's coming. But seeing Riri realize how little of a chance she had against Mysterio before seeing all of her friends dead was like, this is why I like the character. Because he knows how to make you feel like a piece of shit. And I think, and then the thing that I really liked, which we'll go into, ironically, why I don't like the finale, happens with Uatu, because I think this episode also showed this version of Uatu to me in a way that I actually really enjoyed, and it builds upon what we learned about him through this series. Uatu knows the story, as he always does, and he has a chance to just walk away. And he chooses in this moment to save Riri. And I think what I liked about this moment is it goes into what he said in season 2, that he loves these stories. Like, to him, he's like a fan. Like, you know when we watched Infinity War for the first time, and everybody was so angry that Quill hit Thanos instead of just letting things happen the way they were supposed to happen. And Uatu is the fan who sees that and if he had the power to change it, he would. He's the one who gives the movies like, Quill, stop. And that's why I think Uatu's just a fan of these stories. I think that makes them kind of relatable in a way and interesting. And you could argue that's kind of like him in the comics, even though I don't think Uatu does things as pointless as this. But yeah, I did like that for Uatu's character, and it does set him up for something interesting later down the line. So I think this is the best episode in the season. I'll be willing to put it in my top 5. What is maybe top 3? Honestly, I think about how few of these I actually enjoyed in the first 2 seasons, but yeah, I think this is a solid episode. And yeah, hopefully in Ironheart, Riri's just as interesting, bare minimum. So, you know.
Yes. I don't know too many people who are like wanting to see an upgraded God level Ironheart moving forward, but there you have it.
Well, that I like too, because she had all this power, and that's why she was confident, but she didn't understand that Mysterio was always a step ahead. It's about giving her the most hope so she could lose it at the end. That's why it had to be that way to me. So that's why, you know.
Oh yeah. So. For the record, so people understand, because we brought it up, but we really talk about it. When Sam Wilson wasn't in season 2, they asked the directors and everyone, the writers, why was he in there? And they said, oh, a character needs to appear in a movie before they show up here, despite Sam already having a TV show out by the time What If Season 2 came out. So, and that's why it was so confusing people to Riri and who technically was in a movie, but the Hood and like 2 other people just showed up in What If. Because even if the show was out, that goes against what they said when they said Sam couldn't be in one.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't in a movie yet.
Like again, like these episodes were really made at a time where they assumed like certain movies or shows would have already been released. That's why even when it came to Sam Wilson's episode, you notice they didn't really showcase his wings or any of his other other attacks or moves that he's going to be using in his upcoming movie.
And
So
Riri doesn't get her Ironheart suit either. She just gets whatever she has.
Yep.
Yeah, but at least with her, they could have. Well, both of them, they could have just gave them suits they already had.
Yeah.
I don't understand why it's like, oh, we can't use anything. That's confusing to me.
Yes. Well, yeah. Okay. I mean, you guys have any other thoughts on this episode before we move on?
Not really.
I think Jake's a poser.
Okay. All right. With that, let's move on to the next.
Wait, so this is the episode that you think is as good as the best of season 1?
No, right? Episode 5. No, the last one, Riri was.
Oh, okay.
I know. Don't make sure.
Oh, yeah. That's the episode. Yeah.
Okay. So what we're talking about right now is What If 1872, audience, aka the Cowboy, the Old West. They didn't really even offer an explanation as to how we got to this point.
No,
that?
He does.
How?
He does. He opens up and says, like, the further you get away from the main timeline, the more things stop being what if and more what the hell. That's what that was.
Oh, okay.
He was literally saying that this is just, don't even think of it as a what if. It's literally an alternate timeline. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The Cowboy era, hey, audience, John Walker makes an appearance here, and he's treated exactly as how I'm going to picture him being treated in Thunderbolts.
If you're about to cry about him losing to Shang-Chi of all people, we're going to have a talk, all right?
Martial artist.
No, I'm just saying this is what I'm expecting him to have happen to him in the upcoming Thunderbolts movie. I forgot to. I'm even getting flashbacks to that fight they had in the comics in Thunderbolts, where it was a fight between Shang-Chi and U.S. Agent, and what happened? What do you think happened, audience?
The greatest
Shang-Chi
on the planet won?
Yeah, against somebody who's supposed to be stronger than even Steve Rogers.
Sounds weird.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter when it comes to skill and technique. I can be stronger than you, but if I can't properly punch you, it doesn't matter.
Dude, Shang-Chi and Captain America could spar with each other, right?
I know that one panel that people love to bring up about them sparring and kept beating him, but any other time they have fought, Steve Rogers is not beating Shang-Chi.
And then you have like a case of U.S. Agent who actually caused Steve Rogers to down himself fighting wise, who Steve couldn't even beat. And what happens? Shang-Chi beats up U.S. Agent.
To be fair, Steve Rogers and Shang-Chi have gotten stronger and better fighting over the last 10 to 15 years. Steve Rogers pulled off the wing of a plane and was swinging that motherfucker like a sword. Like, he's not the same guy. I think we can both agree about that.
The point I'm trying to say is, I know John Walker is going to be treated like a crap when he makes his appearance in Thunderbolts. That's how he's been written as.
I get it, but we have to. I do think his loss here at least believable. You have to remember, this John Walker does not have the super to him. He's just the guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I get what you're saying, and I do worry that John Walker isn't going to be taken seriously in the movie. Well, he's the one who needs to be taken the most seriously in the film. Him and Bucky.
Yep.
In my opinion.
Yep. So, anyway, going back to the episode.
To give Shang-Chi just like a unrecognizable face and a squad to beat down to show how. And John Walker's an American patriot, so it would make sense for him to be like the cowboy after Shang-Chi, I guess. But yeah, in terms of the episode itself, I thought it was good until the third act, and I was like, oh, I was like, it's kind of boring.
We're not doubting that John Walker is stronger than Steve. We're just saying, once it comes to Shang-Chi in the last 10 years, they've been doing their best to push that, oh, he's the greatest martial artist of all time. So since then, he has not really lost a fight, ever, in the last 10 years. Even his Versus book, he fought Steve and more people than just Steve, and he had them on the back foot. They want him to be the greatest fighter of all time in Marvel right now.
Kara's saying, in Captain America number 350, he fought Steve while recovering frostbite and came close to winning.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not doubting that John Walker is skilled or anything. It's just how Marvel been pushing Shang-Chi in the last 10 years. Either we're not going to let him lose that fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So, all right. Let's see. Going back to the episode at hand. So, what's to talk about this episode?
We see.
Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, so I think in this episode, I think some of the strengths in this is actually no. My problem with it is like it's an okay episode, and I was enjoying the atmosphere of it. I really did like the atmosphere in this episode and how again because the writing is not forcing comedy, it allows us to just let the universe breathe. I think again playing to the strengths of the season, a lot of the episodes are way more immersive than like the last season was. Seeing Shang-Chi and Kate Bishop just fully go into this cowboy outlaw partner role was actually really interesting. I feel like Kate was kind of a tag along. Like I liked her being a partner, but all of her stuff, because it's only a 30-minute episode, right? Like all of her stuff gets like shoved in like the span of 5 minutes. I'm like, okay, well, this is kind of random.
She was here just for fan service moments. I mean, she is a likable character, you know.
Yeah.
It doesn't
we got
help that the story they're basing this on, like none of these characters are here.
Mm-hmm. We have
they
a
didn't have
comment from
anything
Kara.
really to work with. How like with 1602, at least versions of every character was there. Here, none of these people were in this book, so they had nothing to work with. So they had everything here had to be built when it came to like what to do with their character.
I want to touch on that too. But first, I want to read this comment. Kara saying, "My question is whether Shang was mystically enhanced. I could understand that if that's the case. In this depiction, he has no enhancement."
Just so
Car. In this situation, John has no super soldier serum, and Shang-Chi has no powers. It's just a straight regular guy versus a martial artist.
Yeah.
Because John is not with the military, so he's not military trained in this universe either. He's just a guy versus the world's greatest martial artist.
Yeah, at this point, he has the U.S. Army training of someone from 1872 versus the greatest martial artist in history. So, you know, it is what it is. Critter, you were saying something, right?
Okay, yeah. Going back to Austin's point about like this not being based on the comics, this could have been a good a way to introduce like the concepts of the 1872 world where it was the wild wild west, right? In particular, you could have brought in Sheriff Rogers, who, okay, yes, I'll admit he's basically like the rifleman Chuck Connors in that depiction audience, but more importantly, you could have brought in another fan favorite character, Red Wolf, into the mix. Another indigenous character that doesn't get much good spotlight.
Well, been around for what? Like so long? How long? Golly.
Yep. He was a cool character, but hey, they just wanted to focus on Shang-Chi here. And the railroads being built by a particular group of people. And the fact that the only people being kidnapped are a specific group of people, audience. Yeah. Yep.
Which I mean, this is around old-timey America, so it's not like any of this is unbelievable. I think like I said, I think all of that's interesting. I kind of wish the world was more fleshed out more, so we could like see the full effects. I think that's the problem
of now just doing not even what if, just alternate timeline that we have no context for.
Yeah, I think either this episode need to be longer, which they're not going to do. I'm trying to think like how you would do the same premise like 30 episodes.
Kara saying Rifleman Steve and Red Wolf would have been sweet. Yay. Someone else agrees.
I'm not gonna say
I think you would have to just stick closer to the comic, so that very least you be like at the end of the episode, you're like, oh well, check out this comic book that we based it on right here. So people, if we even want more content, they can go get it. So you would have instead of like Hawkeye being number 2, it would probably been like Steve and Shang-Chi in that sense. And then Kingpin's technically already in the MCU, so you can use Kingpin, who was the villain in this story, and Bullseye, who was his number 2, and that could have been Hawkeye in this sense. Like you still could have worked it around. People that got like plot, but I don't think there's any way to do the story without sticking close to the comics, and so people can get content they need to.
Ironically, I'd say that the last season period piece they did, what was that one called? 1602?
Yeah, it's 1602, which is based on the comic, but all those characters who were in that were already in that comic, so they didn't have to like worry about how to characterize certain people.
Yeah, by the time in 30 minutes they made that whole thing feel like atmospheric, like you were in that world. I think in this one, it has a decent storyline to follow. I think it is immersive. I think it's not expansive. It feels like very small and hard to get into.
Kara saying Steve and Shang-Chi working together, period, could make for good stories. Yeah. Could have seen that,
But they want to explore Phase 4 characters. So, like, instead of Steve, I mean, do we do Sam? I think Sam would tie into the race they want to go with.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
I would have personally that though. I'm so sick of Sam Wilson having to deal with racism stories. I'm already black. I don't need it. It doesn't help me. It doesn't help black people. Seeing another black dude go through racism story overcome it. That's literally everything we get.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I get you. But I don't think their objective was to focus on any character outside of Phase 4 for protagonists. So I think it would most likely be Sam. I would say.
You guys want to talk about the villain of this?
I would have brought back Eli Bradley for something. I mean, the guy, old man.
Oh, Isaiah.
Yeah.
Having him being the sheriff in the Wild Wild West.
That's cool. The old man sheriff. Yeah, no, I agree.
The guy we know we're not going to see a lot of.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Oh, you know what, Austin? Yeah, you do Shang-Chi and Isaiah Bradley. That's a combination you never see. Just see what eventually they go on.
Their version of Rush Hour is what you're telling me.
Yes, you do Rush Hour.
But that would have been a 10 out of 10 worth of stuff.
Okay. But okay, so how do you guys feel about the villain here?
Okay. I thought she was very generic. And we're just gonna spoil it. It was a she, it's the sister. I know that this is to explore the things from the movie, how Sean cares about his sister. The way they did it was so boring. I couldn't.
I just found it funny that we got a variation of a villain that has yet to make their debut in the actual MCU. Like.
Well, yeah, it's not the real villain we're gonna get, which was kind of clever play, but it is.
Because apparently we're gonna have when the Red Hood makes his MCU appearance in Ironheart, audience, he's gonna be an activist. Yes. I never saw Red Hood as an activist.
The random 4 other Red Hood fans other than me. I mean, Hood fans. I'm the only person that likes Hood. I never think anyone talk like good about his character. So I'm kind of disappointed.
Austin, don't worry. When this show comes out, everyone,
I know posers and stuff will be like, "Oh yeah, I was always a Hood fan." Like some people don't. I was introduced to Hood when he was on a cabal with Doom and them, and he said some shit to Doom, and Doom sent him away, and I was like, "Oh, I like this character." And I followed him.
So Austin, do you want to defend what he did to Tigra?
Hey, look, I don't need to defend it to like the character. Okay? I like villains being villains.
Okay, just wanted to be sure.
I'm not insane.
Okay. Kara saying, should we do world building and create atmosphere? No, let's throw Walker in for no reason. I feel like he could have had an episode.
They chose Walker because one, he's a Phase 4, and two, because he's a patriot, and this is about literally like the Asian community rising up against an oppressive system so they can make the America that they were promised. So it does thematically make sense for it to be Walker.
Can we ever have a story about an immigrant coming in having the American dream?
I thought we did.
Flat out say the American dream is possible. Something in
America, you can be anybody. Okay, Alexi, you can be anybody. And that's why you became a gym teacher. That's the American dream.
Something in a positive light, I'm saying. Like, because when they mentioned the American, when they mentioned the American dream here, they mentioned it in a negative light.
I can't.
You know?
You know what's crazy? I can't even say that's unrealistic because I have met an immigrant who was told by other people from her country that like America's a great place. Look at all these fancy watches I got, and then she went to America. She's like, "This is the hardest I've ever worked in my life. I think I worked less in my other country." So I would say it's like
Jake. You know me and my family.
Yeah, in
right?
modern time, it is getting harder because the government and everything is like cracking down on immigrants and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And when you first put your foot in the door, like back then, Crypt, I think you can agree there's a lot more like room to do stuff. You want to do a business and stuff, there's not a lot of business in the area. Just open the building. You know what I mean? Now every place is basically like full up. It's already just like put your foot down in the place.
Every place is being turned into an apartment complex. That's what I'm noticing.
Yeah, so I
there.
get to agree. Like in modern day, it'll be hard. But back then, or anything set before like in the 90s and up, I feel like you could have did it pretty well. That type of place.
I think in the 1800s, it depends on what type of person you are and where you are in the country. Yeah. I think it's for some people it was easier than others.
Yeah, don't be black and then show up on the West Coast. Okay.
Kara saying a black sheriff. Hey, it worked in Blazing Saddles, Robin Hood, Men in Tights. and her next comment is a real activist or just someone posting on Twitter.
Probably a bit of both.
Most likely it's gonna be someone posting on Twitter.
Gotcha. Okay, now here's another question for you guys. How do you guys feel about this is supposed to be the introduction of a new Iron Fist or something?
I was like, oh, that's the new guy. I was like, I guess, whatever.
No, I was like, that's not Lin Lai.
Yeah,
that's not Lin Lee.
Yeah, that's not Lin Lai. This is one of the older Iron Fists who introduced, who for some reason in this episode. But that's why I looked at that thing earlier. So I found out the creators of What If wanted to originally do an Iron Fist Chunky team up situation.
Yeah.
So what happened?
So they couldn't do that, so they just threw him in here. But I'm surprised Marvel let it slide because Marvel doesn't like Iron Fist, and Iron Fist isn't in the MCU.
Oh, because he's a side character, and they don't say that he's Iron Fist until the very end of the episode, and you don't see anything of it, so I don't think they even care.
Hey, they just wanted to.
Like, why wouldn't you do that at earlier points? We could have had like Jake. I was gonna bring this up later, but if you look at the credits had like Ghost Rider, all this other stuff in it. The character they didn't use or never going to use. So why did you do that?
Wait, what are you saying? What did they do? What I'm saying that the reason Iron Fist can be here is because it's not Iron Fist. It's just Iron Fist in name only. As far as the Marvel execs are looking at it,
I'm agreeing, but I'm saying with this and in the credits where they're doing like all these other potential what if like Samurai Ghost Rider and all this other stuff. Like if you have no intention to use this character, you don't have to do it.
I think it's just some writer being.
I think it's lazy to just be like, oh yeah, well that's Iron Fist, and then just moving on, like stuff like that. I never liked those type of Easter eggs. I think those are waste.
Honestly, I think it was just some writer being stubborn, like, nah, I'm gonna put the shit up. You know, I think it's like a
no. I think the Iron Fist one is, but if you go by the credits of what they teased and act like they were going to do, they're like, you weren't going to do anything with Ghost Rider. Don't lie to us.
You're saying specific. You're talking about us. Okay, I understand. Okay, yeah.
In the credits, the whole time the credits are playing, they're showing other what ifs they didn't do and potentially could have did, like Jubilee as the Silver Surfer, Samurai Ghost Rider, Weapon X Thanos, Sorcerer Supreme, Maestro Hulk, Man Spider, Shang-Chi as Star-Lord, stuff like that.
Yeah. We're literally going to be talking about that in the next episode. So, you guys have any final thoughts on this before we move on to that?
No, like I said, it was okay. It just kind of fell flat.
Kara saying you three have given me some food for thought during this segment. Yeah, glad we did. Yeah.
All we have is food.
Yeah, you see what happens when you get fanatics from different spectrums of the fandom together to discuss these things, whether we agree or disagree on stuff. You know, we're not an echo chamber, like So, all right. So, all right then. I guess with that, let's move on to the next episode. I really was thinking this was going to be like one topic because hey, is a two-parter, So
okay, so
Energy Plant Avengers, let's go.
I want to say this is a weird. This episode had me feeling weird because when it first came on, I was like, "Oh, I hate this," and then I was like, and then it kept going. I was like, "Oh, I like this," and then I thought to myself, "Wait a minute, where did this come from? How did this even? Where did this episode? Did I miss something? How did this happen?"
I feel like this ran into the same problem as the finale of last season, where they had to kind of shoehorn in a conflict towards the finale to have the final fight sequence. You know?
I was like, no, it was like it's like this isn't just missing an episode. This felt like we should have saw a show on the side, and then we came back here. Like, that's what
which is funny you should bring that up, Jay, because it does feel like there was an episode or two that they ended up cutting off, because I think we had like a discussion on this in a previous episode, right, where the episodes got leaked, and one of the episodes did include like what if the other half of the universe got snapped, you know?
Maybe
but
Wanda's episode got snapped.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
That's where Storm.
What is it was like what if you watch sitcoms instead of musicals? Well, no, what if you watch musicals instead of sitcoms?
Oh shoot, yeah, there you go. You know, I mean, there were some definitely things that they backtracked and had to adjust. You know.
Yeah.
Oof,
For some reason, it seems
let's not forget. Like, remember at the end of the last season, it was supposed to be Captain Carter coming and Watcher meeting Loki at Yggdrasil. We didn't even get a resolution to that.
Actually meet him. I think he was just showing her how everything connects. The multiverse actually connects.
Yeah, but then they were saying weird things. Like, they were like, "Oh, we're all exiled from our timelines." I'm like, "What?" Carter, at the end of season 2, he was going to bring you home. When did that happen? What do you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When you put it like that, I guess so. And then you have like it's weird they even say that, because if you're exiled from your timeline, you'll be in the void. But that's how the void works.
But apparently they had some interactions with the TVA, because they did name drop them here.
Yeah, but like that's like
that could have been an episode.
Okay, look, I think they only explained this by saying, like, you know, time had to pass between the finale season 2, because if you look at Captain Carter's hair, she's already starting to get gray hairs.
No, but that's all well and fine, but this is an established team with an established history, and it's like at some point it's like, man, I know I'm not a fan of Origins, but the way they talk, you kind of need one. You kind of like, where did this team come from? So,
they didn't give an explanation as to how Storm got involved here, audience. She's just in here, and
a single episode this season. Not
people was okay with it, but I was mad about it when it happened to Gamora and her winning the Thanos armor. But when it's happened to Storm, that is a problem. I see how it is.
Well, at least in that situation with Gamora, they were going to save that for the following season. But in here, we know that this is the end of What If. They aren't going forward with any more projects here, you know?
Yeah. And then there was things that just bothered me too. I'm just getting all stuff I hate out the way. Multiverse, Marvel needs to stop with multiverse science, because if this is how you're going to handle it, it's so dumb. Darcy, who isn't even an A-grade scientist in the main timeline, made a communication network between the first one, they said, between 2 universes. What? When did she? When? Which time?
Can we ever get
an intern? She was an intern for Jane Foster most of her career, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Can we ever get
To be fair, did she make the machine they were using in WandaVision?
And I think
she came up with that. It was a team of people.
Yeah, it wasn't just her. I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure
she was involved. That was the only reason she was there. So she has to be some degree of smart.
But that doesn't equate to her going multiversal level. I mean, can we ever get a situation where, like, you know, you have one, I don't know, astronaut engineer, right? Do you think they could do the science of building a robot next? But in situations like this, they will want to bridge that logic. Okay, you could build a rocket. All right, you'll be in this universe. You'll use that knowledge to build an Ultron, or that stuff. You know?
Yeah.
It's very weird. But yeah, I didn't like that scene with Darcy. I mean, heck, you guys know I didn't like the fact that they moved forward with the plot of their child being a member of this team. At this point, like this is like their version of A-Force. I'm assuming, right?
No, it's the
I
X-Files.
saw some complaints about this too, where people were saying, "What If should not have brand new characters like at their own episodes."
Uh huh.
Well,
Like in the sense of like
Kahori,
people like
yeah.
Kahori, but people don't like the idea that Kahori is a what if for the MCU. The whole premise of her episode had nothing to do with MCU.
That's fair. I mean, no,
Like
again, on the technicality of technicalities, it does, but not really.
yeah, but in the same sense, Kahori could be a version of our world, something like that, or what for our world.
Yeah. So, but I actually, but to that said, all those complaints aside, I did like this team. I like that. I like their dynamics. I like their chemistry. I like that their play, like Kahori and Birdie's playing at the pool table. There was a lot. So I think, like, and by the way, the team is the Exiles. That's what they're called. They say it once.
I'm just looking at
this is Captain Carter's team. They've been using her in the comics for a while.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at this as the A Force because I hate to be the one to bring this up, but is there a specific reason why literally every member of the team is women?
I was thinking about it, then I realized like it doesn't
That's
matter.
modern day time.
I felt like it doesn't matter as long as they're cool, and for the most part, they're cool. I don't really have any problems. There's nobody on this team. I was like, damn, fuck you, like, you know what I mean. So I don't really have a.
I just find that weird, though. Like you, like that concept, like
the
it kind of almost feels like that situation with like Black Panther. Like, okay, Wakanda's being invaded. I'll only have people in my community being part of my team to stop it.
I guess, but
like,
it's like
you have a whole multiversal roster of people who I'm sure are more than willing to join your team.
We don't know how this
team
that
was on the last team.
And we do know that team was there. Actually, they have a photo. Well, again, this is another reason why this felt like a season of a show we missed. Captain Carter has a photo, and you see the characters from season 1 that she teamed up with this cast. So and they don't explain what happened to them. And so that was weird to me. And I was like, there's something missing here. In terms of the team, obviously they want, like, the meta reason is they want a team of all girls. But I asked, like, if it's not really like a narrative problem, I don't really see it as an issue. It's just like that's just what the team is.
It isn't a narrative problem, because I think having a multiverse of concept and just still just ending up being all women would be a narrative problem with the premise you set up.
I won't say it's a narrative problem because they're not actively going out of the way. It doesn't seem like. Again, I would like to see how they recruited people, but in terms of like,
that's why I think it's a narrative problem. They showed her like these people just naturally come together. I think would have been fine for people, but they didn't.
Yeah, as far as we know.
So the team, yeah. What?
I'm saying as far as we know, I don't. We know that she naturally.
They didn't show it. So there is no part. They didn't show it at all.
Yeah, we just know that the only one we saw was Captain Carter and Kahori meeting, and I was like, okay, well, I like you, so you're on my team. You know what I mean? That's kind of so. It kind of seems that way, like she just meets people. But for me, it doesn't really bother me because the premise, because the girls themselves, it's not like in the Avengers Endgame, that scene where like for some reason like all the girls are like posing up like as if they know each other. It's like, no, these are just you get the implication that these guys just became friends. And they're natural, and they don't make a whole big deal about them being women. They just all are women, and it's just like, okay.
I mean that god level Star-Lord kid from that last season. What if? I mean, I'm sure he's not doing anything. I'm pretty sure he could have been asked to this team.
Yeah, that's what I would like to see how they got to the conclusions that they did to get there. But my biggest problem with them is just I felt like there was a season of television I missed with them. But outside of like the team themselves, they're not throwing it in your face. It is what it is, and I'm just like, okay.
I guess. So, I mean, as far as their team dynamics goes, like one of the biggest criticism that followed Captain Carter in her last season audience was the fact that she was being portrayed as a bit of a Mary Sue, but in this depiction, I'll at least say they didn't go as far as that. I mean, heck, even their opening fight, right? Yes, she was the one who landed the kill shot to that giant tentacle monster, right? But it was a triple tag team attack. It was Storm giving her a push with her wind, and Kahori using her
Are
teleportation
we
to
gonna
help her
talk
return
about? To be fair, that still is some Mary Stu stuff. If
Mhm.
that's what I think it is, if that's an elder god, they all should just be dead.
I guess.
Well, yeah. Whatever. Yeah.
No,
Again,
there's no I get. Elder gods are stronger than Dormammu. If they enter our world, they just kill you. It's
this is
like
another problem.
Cthulhu type thing.
This is another problem with them. Again, a season of television missed. It's implied they fought this thing before, but we didn't see. Like, I don't understand. Like, what? Again, I don't understand the setup for this team. Like, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of this stuff.
I think Captain Carter did fight a tentacle of this thing in one of her episodes.
Yeah, in the first episode we see a tentacle, and she knows about it. But I think when they show up, they act as if they have run into a version of the creature as a team before.
Wait, wasn't this the tentacle that was the reason why Captain Carter's first episode, right? Red Skull tried summoning this tentacle creature, and Captain Carter was the one who tried pushing it back.
This is the thing that's in the Marvel Rivals right now, Jake. When the Bucky episode, this is the Eldritch God that, you should not win. There should be no winning in this situation.
Right.
If they had the Agatha with celestial power, maybe.
Right.
But these people, no.
Right.
Gotcha. Kara saying, I remember when Funko advertised the Kahori vinyl soda months before What If Season 2 aired, and people were very confused. Again, it's like they are changing schedules on a dime, studio-wise. Yes, because, again, the creation of this season was made with the intent of, a lot of shows like Ironheart having already been released. But, again, delays and pushbacks.
Yeah.
And go ahead, Jake.
It feels like I'm answering some of his comment. Captain Carter being this powerful made no sense. I feel like there's a problem I also have with when things get animated, and also it's a problem I have with comics as well. If this was a movie, you're absolutely right. Captain Carter would not have gone through that creature like that. For some reason, whenever we get animated or whenever we get to comics, writers have a hard time grounding things. So characters get away with things that are a little bit more silly.
At least, comic wise, you're not in a grounded universe. So her doing stuff like this, or them being like, "Oh, for some reason the super soldier serum reacted more with her, she's stronger." Would it just be something the comics would do in general? We're going to animation. You're saying this is a what if based on what we know. We've seen Captain Carter in live action. We know what she's like.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm not using it as a defense. I'm saying that this is my problem with. I'm using it as a criticism of all forms of translating live action to animation. People just for whatever reason have a hard time remembering this was a grounded thing. And I wish this was I wish it wasn't like that. I wish people just remember hey, this you have to be careful of your source material.
My problem though is this, but I don't see if someone having a problem with this if they like her last season or season before that, because it's how consistently strong she's been. This is a woman who put all 6 Infinity Stones into her chest plate and survived.
But
Iron Man's armor couldn't handle power.
That was a complaint. That was a complaint, though. People had issues with that.
Because every time, if you look at it, every time she uses a stuff, Kahori is defending her. She's like, "Hey, she has a shield when she uses it." So.
I know, but I get it. But it's why is Kahori's power strong enough to do it?
Because she's an Infinity Stone. Remember, she's a Space Stone.
Yeah, but being the power of one Infinity Stone shouldn't be that means I can block the power of all of it. That's what I'm saying. The dispersion of power has always been something that's been weird in Marvel, especially for Captain Marvel, because they just like her do anything when it matters.
Yeah.
So it's not like I have issue with her being that strong. It's more like I have issue with the writing quality.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Tevye is saying these people fighting the Watchers and winning is just dumb and made no sense.
Yeah, we'll get.
And he's also saying why not give us Storm's story where she found Thor's hammer, because that would be really awesome. We don't know what happened. We don't know what happened behind the scenes.
I think they were limited. I think What If has a 9-episode limit, and that's why they keep getting cut off, because I think they have a 9-episode limit. For whatever reason, in season 3 they said no, it's 8 episodes this time, and they said okay. Well, we're choosing 8 episodes.
Even then, though, we know the episodes that were chosen, the Storm was not going to be in. The episodes that got cut that we know of, none of them was made the Storm in my opinion.
I wonder if it was going to be what if the other half got stabbed and somehow that led to Storm getting Thor's hammer. Because remember,
I don't think so. Only because Bucky disappeared, his arm and his gun disappeared.
You think Thor's hammer disappears in the snap?
Thor's hammer was broken at that point. It wasn't even put back together yet.
Oh, I guess she would have to put back if I'm right. By the way, I'm just making this up. If I'm right, she would have to
go to Norway, find the hammer, put it together, and then pick it up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
So I think it's more like I think it'll be more like a what if the X-Men what if mutants were already around or some shit like that, or like what if the X-Men helped what if the X-Men was in Infinity War, and that's what it kind of leads to, like type situation where you're like, oh, you're doing your power, you should be able to handle it. Like, all this other crazy. I don't think there's any like logical way, unless it's based in the X-Men '97 universe itself, which doesn't have a Thor. I don't know how you'll do it.
Or maybe it's like the what if would have been the episode, the comic line where the X-Men did go to Asgard, or the something like that. I remember that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I guess, but the sake of expediency, for sake of expediency, I did like this team overall. I just wish I saw more of them. I did like Birdie in this episode as a character. I like her voice. She's fun. I like how she actually had a personality. So I thought that was all fun. I did like Hori more personality, but I'm like, weren't you supposed to be defending your like whole planet? Like, what happened? Like, what were you supposed to? Your country?
I'm pretty sure
the whole thing was in there defending her people, but they abandoned it a long time ago.
Right. So I got whatever.
I guess she left them at a good enough spot. I guess. Remember, it's like a whole nation of people with powers equal to her, to some degree. Remember?
That's just all, like, who cares, right?
Yeah, that's why I don't like her being here. Because what I would have done, like, say if we got another season, I would have her go home, she found her people, and went out and started conquering other people. So I feel like it's the natural next step. We have a super continent of people with superpowers.
Yeah, you can have someone taking the whole.
It's been a time disparity. You thought you've been gone for like a day. You've been gone for like a year. Okay, time changed.
You could have had like a storyline where somebody takes a whole unite everybody under one tree situation and just really making a really horrible decision with that. Like a really
the unification wars. Okay, we're gonna take over the planet, unite everyone under Kahori.
Whether they want to be united or not, Let's see.
Yeah.
Kara saying, what if there was only one blade and there was only ever going to be one blade?
There are two blades. Y'all are not going to keep disrespecting TV show Canadian rapper Blade. I won't let it happen. I'm so sick of this. There are two blades. That man did okay? He wasn't great. But he existed.
That blade got taken out by the TVA. Okay, he wasn't.
He was so great that they had to eliminate him. They couldn't even put him where all the other discarded variants are. They had to eliminate your favorite blade. Sevia saying, question: how did these characters best Kang the Conqueror off screen? Because that makes no sense. Wait, they mentioned Kang the Conqueror?
Did they say that?
Yeah. Can you see a what if version of Kang the Conqueror in this episode? And the team apparently did beat him.
Oh, okay.
But if Ant-Man beat him, with not discredit Ant-Man, a character with the power of Infinity Stone will dog King. Okay?
Yeah. And just remember, all kings aren't created equal. So there's clearly a hierarchy of kings.
Think about this. The king from Ant-Man's biggest power was telekinesis?
Yeah.
You know who else had telekinesis and walked to a team? High Evolutionary.
There you go.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I think the multiversal science was a bit silly, and it's gonna get sillier as time goes. I also didn't like how all the characters kept referencing things they weren't there for. Like the only person, like Corey kept trying to talk about things, and Corey's like, "Oh, you mean Infinity Ultron?" Or I was like, "What? You were what? How do you?" I don't doubt that you were told about it, but why are you talking about like you were there? That was big.
Yeah. Look, Infinity Ultron. I'm pretty sure at that point he is a legend amongst anybody who's into the multiversal business. Like this is the Satan of our job line. Like we can never have this happen. He who should not be named. You know?
It was like them just talking about like they were there, and then they did the Strange thing too. I think Storm brings Strange up. I'm like, you didn't see that. How did you know?
I know.
Well, it's better than what her being great with doing in X-Men '97, where it's like now you're just like repeating stuff I was there for. So like,
it's almost like they should have had somebody who was actually there at those events as part of this team, guys. You know,
Captain Carter. Why didn't you just say? You talk about it?
No. Have those lines be said by? Okay, yeah. I mean, it could have been said by Captain Carter. Yeah, you're right.
Actually, if Cahoria talked about Doctor Strange and Carter talked about Ultron, I think that would have been fine. That would have just fixed it. That would have.
High Evolutionary is a far better villain. You know what? I could have seen him as a in one of these episodes. That's true. Kara saying, "Imagine Infinity Ultron appears and someone goes, wait, you're real?" Gotcha.
That was another problem I had. Like Jake was talking about this season mainly focused on season 4, not season 4, stage 4, stage 5, whatever characters, level of people, touching them.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like nobody from Final Guardians film showed up in any of these.
Evolutionary,
and Warlock.
Yeah.
That's
I think with what was I gonna say? Because I'm trying to get to the last episode, so we could just like get there and wrap it up. We do have to talk about Infinity Ultron. I did like.
Yes. Audience, the best thing that ever happened with this What If series was the whole introduction of Infinity Ultron, right? And I love how they brought him in here because his whole What If scenario was, well, what if he never spotted the Watcher?
Yeah.
So what happens? He literally just stands on that rock for eons and eons. He doesn't move. Like, oh damn! Like, no, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, damn, I crashed out for no reason. Why did I do that?
Yeah, like there's literally nothing else in the universe, in his universe anymore. He literally wiped out all the people and apparently all the planets too. So, like, his mission was complete.
But I'm gonna bring up my problem with that though. He's gonna later say, "Oh, I there's no redemption for me." I'm like, okay, listen. If you didn't have the Infinity Stones, yes. But there is you
literally just go back in time, you fucking loser.
Right. Or just bring it back. You didn't go back in time. Just like, they're back.
Just snap, bring it back. You can't die from it, idiot.
That's true. Tevia, to answer your question, Tevia, this is a variant of that version of Ultron. So no,
they established in the episode 5. Watcher says that she says that every time I see a version of this story, it ends the same with Riri, and the furthest it gets is here. So that explains that there's timelines that are kind of the same. They just may be different in some ways. So that's what this is.
Gotcha. But yeah, I kind of like it did take eons and eons for him to come up with a different conclusion to the point where he thought the answer was just eliminate all life, but that's not really bringing about peace. That's just making things quiet, you know?
Which is crazy because he says that in Avengers too. I forgot, someone says something to him and he says, I think you're confusing peace with quiet. And I was like,
he said that to the Avengers.
Yeah.
It just took a while for that to sink in and for him to experience that firsthand, I guess, you know?
Yeah. It's like, I think I confused peace with quiet. But fuck him though, because he left that timeline without bringing everybody back. I'm like, you fucking asshole.
That was one of the biggest problem with that whole situation. You have the power to do anything, yet you act powerless to do anything.
I'm a little, I just want to think about the limits of the Infinity Stones because, remember how, just bringing up half the universe, just wiping out half the universe is enough to destroy what was holding the stones, right? This isn't just bringing back half the universe. You're bringing back literally everybody in the universe, including the planets that you blew up as well. You know.
No, but
remember, Ultron's armor is made from the Infinity Stone stuff, so that's why it probably wouldn't break.
It distributes throughout his body. That's why it worked in.
I would think.
What If episode?
I would think it would break at that point for that large amount of power to go through. You know,
Thanos' gauntlet And the reason
I guess it depends on how much power it takes to bring up back a planet more than people. Because like one's just rock, giant rock, and the other one is like soul.
If you look at when Tony snaps in Endgame, the reason he can hold it for so long is because he's distributing it throughout his body, and that's just like a mortal man. Ultron has the strongest armor in the universe, and the Infinity Stones can all go through his body. He should be fine. And if not, fuck him. He said he wanted to redeem.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, he's not focusing them in one point, which is his arm. He's focusing throughout his chest, so they can go all over his body like more natural.
Yeah. So
I get what you're saying, but I guess like I said, I think it comes down to like how much you think a soul is. Like if you're like, oh yeah, bring it back a planet, that's to like destroy your thing. It's like, is a planet worth more than a soul? Well, how much the soul stone charges just to use it?
Yeah.
I wanted to
we gotta get like the actual questions about all this stuff now.
Tevia, he's another version we see the first time. It's not really like, think back to Loki, how there's two versions of Infinity War. There's just one where Loki just faked his death, and that's basically what it's just like the timeline over. Basically, that's all it is. There's a series of timelines where Ultron wins and it ends the same way. That's basically what it just might be a little different. So,
But regardless,
I like him getting Vision's body just makes him invincible somehow at that
point. I know, right? I know. But regardless, he came to his senses. He joined the team. Well, I mean, it was Captain Carter who wanted to go recruit him in the first place. This is where I kind of like, I'm okay with what they did with Captain Carter because, again, in this situation, she had her shield broken, audience, because the Watchers saw Utu constantly interfering with other universes, so they had to step in. And who was his most influenced companion? Captain Carter. And so they had to take action. You guys want to talk about how about their judgment over the Watcher?
I want to talk about it in the next episode because they even go more in depth with it, and it's going to lead to a problem. The problem that ruins the finale for me. So
okay, go. Okay. Final thoughts on this?
I think it was a solid setup. I was really interested in seeing part 2. It falls. The only problem is it feels like we missed a lot, and I think that's the only problem.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha. All right.
So Uatu shares his. Oh my god. My problem
what
with
if,
this episode comes where this should not have been a fight. This should have been a debate. This should have been like just a debate. The fight is so silly. Like the Watcher's on trial, and I believe there even is a story about the Watcher being on trial in the comics, if I remember correctly.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and I think, and my issue with it is like, there is a legit reason why the Watchers don't interfere, and it would have been nice to explore that, and why Uatu disagrees with it. In the conclusion, we come at the end.
It's his
audience,
fault, though.
Audience to give a little bit more.
The Watchers kept interfering like early with development of like planets and stuff, and it always ended terribly. So the whole race decided to stay out of it, basically. And then the main 616 kept interfering with the Fantastic Four, what led to the trial.
An audience also add more stock to the Watchers' reasoning for not interfering. There was a recent event in comics where they showed there was a point in time where the Watchers did decide to interfere with a planet's survival, only for those people to take the technology from the Watchers and cause an uprising and nearly destroy their whole species. So that's why they don't want to interfere. They took a solemn vow afterwards.
And I think having the conversation, because again, I do like Uatu's character in this show. Like I like how again to him it's like these are not stories. Like I love these stories. I love these worlds. These are people that I really do care about. And again,
you were being reckless, dude. I mean, to the point. Yeah, okay, if you want to help Riri, okay, I can understand that. Then going to help that kid in the 1872 world, I don't think. I think there were more drastic situations in other universes he could have interfered. But then when you brought up the fact that he interfered with Madison's fate, from She-Hulk, oh come on, Come on,
Yeah,
dude.
and I think that's also
this
fine.
guy is the type of fan that I always hated, and it's like the average MCU fan, where if stuff don't go perfectly or their characters don't get a happy ending, they act like it's the worst story of all time.
Yeah, that's kind of what Uatu is, honestly. And I wish the evidence was the other side of the argument, where it's like, no, this is why we don't do it. Behold, this is what happened when you interfere with this one thing, and it led to this. Like, you think you're doing good, but you're doing bad.
I would have showed to the future. I'd be like, look, you interfering here is going to cause you keep interfering in all the other places, and more people are coming more and more in the multiverses. Look at all these. Look, you're not just no. You know what they should have did, Crypto? I just realized it. They should have tied this into the whole thing we're doing later in Secret Wars. With like, you're not, and you interfering, causing incursions. You realize that, right? And not just like planet incursions. Multiverses are colliding.
Right.
That's that should have been brought up.
Breaking on each other.
Tavia asked who was Madison. That confused me. Wow. Madison is a character from She-Hulk. Was a friend of Wong. She was a funny character.
The one who did that stupid joke about like two ends, but and one Y.
It's not stupid. It's the best joke in that series.
I seriously don't get that joke even to this day, audience.
It's not where you think. Like,
what the fuck does that mean?
It means the Y is not where you think it is. In her name.
The fact that they brought.
Just like over there.
I don't know. Audience, maybe there's a what if universe out there where what if cryptid gets where the Y is. You know? I don't know. Okay, Tevye saying.
The Y is and our whole argument shuts down.
Yeah, but the bottom line is, I'm pretty sure Madison isn't going to be like the debating like, or her actions are going to influence like the whole world survival rate, and for Watcher to have to interfere with that, oh come on, dude, you know.
And I think that should have been the argument. Like, it's like you're not just helping people, like you're not just helping the big things. You're doing like petty shit that doesn't matter, and like you're.
Wait. They brought up Reed Richards.
Yeah, they did. Oh, you didn't watch the finale?
I saw it. I didn't. I saw some of it. They had to do
they brought him in part 1 and part 2. Uatu apparently helped Reed Richards.
Both his scenes.
No, in the episode he was name dropped.
Yeah, he was.
No, I'm saying I was missed both those scenes. I've been busy today as well.
Okay, gotcha.
He's apparently helped him multiple times. I suspect it's the one from the movie we're getting, and we're just gonna find out like, oh yeah, he knows what's happening. Like he's
gotcha.
But yeah, that movie's gonna end the way it's supposed to, like based on rumors of them coming to the 616. Then I assume the Watcher would be the one who makes them aware of the multiverse eventually. You somehow.
I think, but yeah, I think Uatu. I think the evidence should have been the other side of the argument. Like, you can't just recklessly help people because this is what happens. This is what happens when we did it before you joined the joined the order. So like, I think that, and I don't know. And to be honest, I don't know what's a satisfying conclusion to that debate. But maybe it doesn't have to be satisfying. Maybe it could be like, Uatu, like, no.
I think the Watcher could have been the same thing as punishment was, where it's like we're gonna change. If I remember, that's the reason he would change to the moon in comics for a while. But it's like, you clearly can't do your job impartially, so you won't be able to do your job. You're going to sit here, and we're going to make you watch the universes.
That could have been a good way to bring back the unseen concept. Yeah, the one where Nick Fury got punished by forcibly being chained to the moon and being the new Watcher. Yeah.
Maybe bittersweet. And you know what? If you want Captain Carter to do something, maybe she gives an impassioned speech that stops Uatu from getting killed. But maybe they're just like, you know what? We'll cut him some slack because you made a compelling speech. But
Okay. Oh, Tevye is asking question. What was the point of Riri Williams' episode that makes no sense?
It was
okay.
You can read about most episodes. Just what if?
Guys, I'm pretty sure that they probably intended for this. Now that she had this upgrade, right? They probably wanted for her to be part of the final battle team, but somebody in the writing room was probably like thinking, "Oh, okay, maybe we are kind of stretching this A-Force concept a little bit too much at this point."
It would have made more sense.
You were the only person worried about A-Force. I think they just didn't do it because of the movie stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if they wanted her to be on the team, they would have just put her here. They could have replaced the Storm with her.
Yeah, that these people do not care about what we care about.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The problem with River,
have...
the whole point of her having that upgrade is just to show her having a lot of hope and then losing it in a tragic way, and then being like, and then still setting up at the end. That's all it was. It's nothing that deep.
Gotcha.
But, you know.
Okay, but yeah. So Captain Carter had her shield broken. Audience.
Yeah, I guess. So instead of getting a debate, we get an actual stupid fight that doesn't make much sense. Like, first off, it's established very early on that the eminence was far beyond the Watcher. At this point, that was clearly said, I believe. And so even if he gave the others an upgrade.
No, Jake. Oh no, we lost Jake. Audience.
How they can possibly.
There you go. You're back.
Okay, you're back.
Oh,
you're out.
Yeah, you cut off for a second.
Oh, I was saying that the Eminence was established to be on a higher level than the Watcher. So even if these characters did get a power up from Uatu, they shouldn't be on the Eminence level, let alone two other Watchers on the Eminence's level. That doesn't make any sense.
Like I just found that weird, the fact that you're establishing the Watcher.
Might depend on like what you say with it, because it's really so what the Watcher's power.
I just found that
people forget that the Watcher was able to fight Infinity Ultron. Like straight up, he was. But he was able to fight him.
It's great that you bring up that point, because I want to bring up the point. So you're establishing the fact that at any given point, the Watcher could just equally distribute his power to everybody to be of his level.
I guess.
Yeah, remember he didn't do that in that fight.
Yeah, I would think you would want to do that when you guys were first fighting Infinity Ultron. Like, I don't see why.
To be fair, he was still iffy about interfering back then.
Yeah, and giving somebody else the oath was just kind of like, that's very sacrilegious, and the only reason he would do it here is just because he's facing other Watchers. But he wouldn't do that. I don't think he would do that for Infinity Ultron. I think he let the multiverse die before he did that.
Okay. Ultron Infinity getting killed by the Watchers at least was something cool. Granted, he died, but it was better than nothing.
Also, the moment he left his universe, he should not have any power, by the way. That's how the Phoenix Stones work.
Oh, yeah, they just have. That's not even just a comment. That's in the MCU, because when the TVA has Infinity Stones, it doesn't work anymore. But we had that problem in season 1.
They did outside of their universe. The Infinity Stones did not work.
But we had that problem in season 1, though, because it was the same thing. He went to other universes and it worked for some reason. So I don't know.
No. And that when he went to the Watcher's place, which I don't know if that counts, but he fought the Watcher in his own universe, and he was cracking like the dimensions of his own universe. So it was still technically his own universe.
Okay, well, question: should Kahori's powers work inside her universe?
They will have to if it's
to be fair, though, they still want the Infinity Stones. That becomes your own power once you get it. So technically, yeah.
Oh, okay. You guys say something? Sorry.
Yeah, I was like saying, like, I think we did have this discussion when it came to season 2, because like you remember in the final battle, Captain Carter was using the Infinity Stones of another universe to fight against Doctor Strange. Yeah. So
they said that they had the nerve to intercede her going to Loki, where the rules were set.
I know, right? I know. Kara saying, "I'll use my infinity power. Power immediately fizzles out upon leaving the universe." The frick. Yeah, they're playing loose on that rule apparently. So.
Oh, but also it was also established that Awesome brought up a point. The Watcher fights Ultron and loses, but Ultron fights the Eminence and gets dogged. So like
you're under the. Well, I mean, it's under the assumption that our Watcher, he's the new guy. Like the three we're fighting are the Elder Watchers.
But that's what I'm saying. So how can they fight the Elder when they can beat Infinity Ultron with 0 difficulty? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. The more you dissect it, the more you do see the little clogs here in this final battle. I'll admit that.
That's what I'm saying. It shouldn't have been a fight. It should have been a debate. It really had no reason to be like a real fight.
But you know how Marvel seasons have to end, man. It has to be that battle. So
can't have creative writing, especially with this team.
Gotcha. I did like the scene where it turns out like 3 Watchers combined, if they focus on long enough, they do have the power to erase somebody across the multiverse, which is what they intended to do.
I didn't like that because I think it takes away from the ultimate nullifier, which will be introduced in Fantastic Four.
Oh, that would be something, you know.
They could say it's a watcher thing they made before they learned how to do it themselves.
It's not though. It's made by Galactus. That was the whole point of it. That's why it could be Galactus.
They're gonna change it.
It will be their way of trying to.
I don't think they're going to change it. To be honest, I don't think the writing of this series has anything to do with the appearance of MCU overall.
I mean, like, I still think this is a power that they could say, like, the nullifier right is trying to replicate the power that the Watchers possess in eliminating somebody from the multiverse in general. You know, you could write it in a way.
It depends how you look at it. Cause, like, what Galactus' purpose is him making that weapon in case, like, because the reason Galactus had that weapon, it was simply in case the celestial power thing goes way off the realms. And he can't stop it because that was his whole purpose. When they revamp, make sure to keep the celestial thing in check. So you want to say the Watchers made this before they start interfering? They would not left this here in the universe. You know what I mean? You know, like it's crazy to think like we're not going to interfere, but our greatest weapon that can emulate the power of 3 elders, we're going to leave here. And
maybe that was the thing they put in there, and they were like, you know what? Let's never do that again. That was crazy.
Yeah. But
every universe. So
it's still a very intense power to have. You know,
honestly, if we're being real, I feel like TVA should have the ultimate nullifier. If we're being honest,
they could.
They should have the ultimate nullifier just in their back pocket. I feel
they could.
The reason you give it to Galactus, because Galactus, at the least episode Reed got it, could guarantee that no one with ill intentions would get it. If you go to TVA, someone could probably grab this shit out the wall and start shooting people. You know what I mean?
What's his name?
Like they have not been shown to be responsible. Responsible when it comes to stuff.
Yeah. And technically, they can do that. Remember the bomb they had in Deadpool Wolverine? They can't. I guess they could technically do that.
They can destroy the timeline itself. The ultimate nullifier kills you and then remakes the timeline where you just never existed.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the timeline's still intact. There's no danger to the timeline. There's nothing else except for you were never born.
Well, keep this in mind. They are going to have to make some adjustments to the rules of the ultimate nullifier if it ever does pop up in the actual movies. Because remember, it's the same thing that happened with the Infinity Gauntlet, right? Like in the movies, they established, hey, you do one snap, it practically destroys the gauntlet. Whereas in the comics, it doesn't have that flaw, you know?
What is it with Ultimate Nullifier? Outside of using it to beat Galactus in the movie, they're never going to get a chance to really use it again because Galactus is most likely to stay in the universe. You know what I mean?
That would be true because if they had to fight Kang, that would be the way to beat all of them. You would
yeah.
And that would have
been part. That had to have been part.
You introduce it in the Galactus thing, you don't use it, and then in the King movie, that's how it would have been the finale that scene where you use it. Finally, see how it works. But without King being there, I doubt they need to nerf it because it's something you can only use. You have to put like a time limit on it, so you can't use it every 10 years or so, or something like that.
Yeah.
Like once you use it, you can't just spam it or something, so it can't be relied on.
Gotcha. Kara saying, we need to hide the ultimate nullifier. I'm on it. Swallows ultimate nullifier. You dummy! It's in Galactus' stomach.
Look.
There you go.
Hey, look, think about it like this. Goose the cat.
There you go.
No, don't make a joke out of this, man. Come on.
I guess it's not really making a joke if it eats the thing. It ate the Tesseract before. It can handle the power.
But we already running out of time. So I guess
another point I want. Yeah, I did want to bring up another point, right? Captain Carter's quote unquote death at the end, right? I do think the fallout. Yeah, she died, but I think the fallout of this is that this is just the death of the Captain Carter in general across the multiverse.
That one makes sense. Because then what happens to the MCU?
No, because we already know Haley Atwell is confirmed to be in Secret.
No, as Agent Carter, not as Agent Carter, not as Captain Carter.
But if you were having her show up as Captain Carter, you wouldn't tell people that.
Yeah, but we're not just. The point I'm saying is we're not going to get we're not going to get Captain Carter going forward. She's just going to be back to her
I
status.
doubt it.
You think that the
Warrington, with how much they're putting her in comics up now, we're getting her going forward.
You
It
think
might
the
not be a
Watchers?
prominent role, but she'll definitely show up.
You think the Watchers are making a distinction between Captain Carter and Agent Carter? I thought they were just killing every Peggy.
Yeah.
But remember, Captain Carter was able to stop them from fully doing that. But there has to be a fallout from that. Like her other multiversal selves were being affected by that at the very
I think the
least.
fallout is the containment in the show. I don't
I'll
know.
tell you, bro. Yeah. How this show has played it, I don't think anything here is truly going to cross over into anything else.
The only thing I can see crossing over is
at best, we might see a live action Kahori, and that's about it.
Yeah. Yes.
But it's crazy because for all its faults, I did actually like this team. The implied adventures this team had, like they went to the TVA, and I'm like that was the first time the TVA interacted with anybody outside of Loki and Deadpool. I guess Deadpool did it first, but I did like them interacting with other multiversal teams. So I do kind of hope this is canon for the most part.
Tevia saying, yes, to answer your question, yes, Tevia, she is.
Yeah.
Let's see. You guys want to talk about the all the actual good what if after credit scenes?
I mean, fair. I looked at them. I didn't think any of them would be interesting what ifs for me because they would have been the same problems. Like this.
We would have seen
Ghost Rider could have been a lot interesting.
Yeah, we could have seen Man Spider.
If Peter ended up more Spider than Man in this timeline, that could have been something.
No, that could have been. I think that and Gamora being a bride, sure, it was like, but it was like Ghost Rider Samurai. It's like this would be the same problem I would have. It's like, what is this a what if of?
Well, we would have seen Gamora as a bride.
No, I don't think that would have been a what if. I'm just saying I like the art of it, but
I mean, come on.
I'm not a hypocrite. I promise you.
Gamora being a bride, of course, that was going to be the marriage between her and Peter at that point.
Maybe, or it could be Thanos set up to one of his daughters in arranged marriage to get the army of someone else as well.
Gotcha. There's this, but bottom line is there was a seed of a good idea. I mean, also I don't know if you guys know this, but like apparently Deadpool made an appearance at that after credit scene. What if, I guess he brought his weapons to Avengers Infinity War or something like that, Yeah. So it was a barely blinking. Yeah. The one concept I didn't like. The one concept I didn't like at all. Riri Williams as Punisher. No.
Yeah. I think that was the one that was like, oh, that would be kind of cool. Like maybe somebody fucked her over. She wants to kill people.
I don't think we need Punisher in the hood, bro. I think that's the last thing the hood needs for them.
Yeah. Given how people are already upset as that, what studios have been doing with the Punisher. Everybody's been wanting Punisher to go back to his normal self. His what people like about Punisher, right? But then you take that gimmick.
I think the Punisher could be in what if regardless. Yeah, what people want a Punisher, especially his first return. This is 2019 at this point. I don't think it would have been good.
It follows like. But it follows like. Jake, it follows like the same.
No, it's not really about killing people. But this being Punisher's first reappearance, technically, and a minute people are like, people want
you gave it to Riri Williams.
No, I
would leave.
It's like the following same logic as
Well, I'm hoping that by the time that season when it came out, that we would have gotten Daredevil season 3. I mean, Daredevil Born Again by now. So I would just hoping that would have been the first appearance anyway.
This just gives me like flashback to like what happened with Cosmic Ghost Rider, because remember, Cosmic Ghost Rider, another variant of Frank Castle. Guess what? They decided to give it to that diverse woman character on a space motorcycle in the comics. I'm like, what?
If you can do a premise where like, oh, what if the government successfully fucked over Wakanda and like using Riri's tech, and then Riri's like, fuck you, I'm killing all of you. Like, you did something with that. Like, I don't know. That's interesting. You can do.
That's not the Punisher at that point though. That's basically revolution. And that.
No, but that's it. It's a what if, and I'm sure there's been a what if Punisher.
Yeah, but if you do a what if someone took the Punisher, they should go through the loss of what the Punisher went through. In my opinion,
people want to see Frank Castle the Skull again doing Hail Marys.
No, it doesn't matter. It didn't happen. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm just saying that what I was saying was I thought that Daredevil Born Again would be here, which is where Punisher would be in first, so people would have that taste. I'm saying if that was the case, I wouldn't mind it. I get what you're saying about like you want Punisher to have that his appearance. I just thought he would have it by the time the season came out. That's all I'm saying. But like you said, it's not happening. So.
No. I guess the best way my point of view of it is more like if you're gonna do a what if someone came to Punisher, I would rather be the Daredevil if came to Punisher because that was the whole thing. Season 2 of Daredevil was built on the similarity between these two and the slippery slope of that situation. Yeah. And then we had the situation in the comics 2018 where he accidentally killed someone. People thought he was going to Punisher anyway. So that would have been what I did. What Daredevil start killing people like straight up. Like Karen dies the bullseye in the church, and he just goes off the rail.
Right. Yeah, I can see that too. That's a good one.
But the main one in here I want to talk about with you, Jake, was they did Sorcerer Maestro Hulk. So I don't know if you remember Maestro Hulk. It's the Hulk that was smarter, stronger than regular Bruce Banner. He's the one who in the alternate timeline, Old Man Logan, at some point. He was not in the first one. He was not that first Hulk, but he did end up there. But he's from the Future Imperfects. He's basically the Hulk after everything went to shit. And he's like, you know what, I gotta be the guy. But this is him as Sorcerer Supreme because he apparently was supposed to go back to after Infinity War messed up. Because I think this is a part of the okay, I won't say that. But he was supposed to go back to the ancient one in that situation or Doctor Strange and be trained in magic after Infinity War happened in his timeline. If you're wondering where I'm getting this from the Wikipedia about like the what ifs and stuff, potential stuff they would have done.
Yeah.
So like so we would have had what if he went back and he became a sorcerer. So by the time Endgame came, he would have been this, like the Hulk fully taken over, but also Sorcerer Supreme. I feel like that could have been interesting in a different time period. I don't think it would have been if Endgame would have helped that much.
There were better what if scenarios that we could have dedicated an episode on instead of a bestiality episode audience at the end of the day. You know?
So. Favorite episode. Stop messing with
him. I don't mind the episode. I just mind the ending.
Okay, man. You know?
Let me see if I can find it, because I had this whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay. While you find it, I'll read Tevia's comment. Considering this is the end of What If, I don't know. I don't see this series returning. Yeah, they said this was the final. So, if this is the sort of quality that they were going to continue on with these sorts of episodes, then to that I'll say, okay, it needs to end right here. You know, it's just been going downhill ever since the first season.
Oh yeah, I found it. So episodes that were considered for the season but not included was going to be they tried to for some reason include the band Kiss in 6 different episodes, and it just never worked out. But one episode would have been a galactic battle of the bands concept with Kiss serving as the judges. A samurai episode that Andrew described as hardcore and just brutal and awesome, which was the Ghost Rider one, with elements of Romeo and Juliet. A Dungeons and Dragons style episode following Sam and some other people trying to complete a quest.
Okay.
Apparently, it would focus on Sam and we had another episode with Sam where it centered on Sam Wilson and Yelena Belova, where she became a Winter Soldier at some point. And then I brought this up already. The Kung Fu themed episode between Iron Fist and Shang-Chi, which got wrapped into the other thing.
Let's go with some premises.
Wait, Car, I just saw your other comment. The realization that this series ends now, it ends with a duck-human hybrid as a Phoenix Force. Me and Crypto talked about this earlier. If that is the Phoenix Force at this timeline, that's kind of sad. Because people don't know, in the Marvel Comics, there's only one Phoenix Force, ever. Usually in another universe, the same Phoenix Force from 616. So if they keep that, that's the only rule the Phoenix Force has ever had, and it had never really broken. If that's the case for this universe, that's kind of crazy. But
I think
Cryptid thing is more Star Brand. with like the 2018 run of Avengers, if y'all read that.
Yeah, and plus, like, who cares about Starbrand anyway, audience? So that character who was in the Jonathan Hickman run. So I think they get away with giving it to someone like Birdie, I guess. So
I was gonna, I guess, the only, if I really tallied this up, I think I enjoyed more episodes from season 3 than I did season 1. I'm looking at season 1. I liked only 4 out of 8. Season 2, counting them, I think I like 2 episodes. No, 3 episodes. 3 episodes out of a whole 9. Maybe the first episode. I think I like the Nebula episode, so maybe we'll give it 4 again. Out of this whole season, 8 episodes, I like 6 out of 8. So I would have to say it's the best season for me.
Wait. When we watched the What If the first time in season 1, I remember you said you liked the What If the World Lost Its Avengers with the Hank Pym episode.
Mm-hmm. That's one.
You liked Doctor Strange episode.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, you liked Marvel Zombies.
I think I liked it, and then I'm like, I think the jokey nature kind of ended it for me. I think it's more like I'm okay.
I remember you liked it, but you didn't like Scott Lang.
Yeah, I think when I think back on it, I think now I'm like,
No,
okay.
I remember. What ruined it for you was Zombie Thanos. That's what it was.
Oh yeah. Oh, because they did the
Zombie Thanos in Wakanda with the Infinity Gems somehow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You did not like Killmonger's episode. You said you liked Thor's, so that's already 3.
Mm-hmm.
Did you not like Ultron 1?
No, that's the 4th. And because remember
So you didn't like the 9th episode?
Yeah, because I liked there were hype moments, but I don't think I liked it as a whole narrative. That's what I remember saying. But I did like part 1.
What episode do you like of season 3?
Season 3 or 2?
3.
Oh, okay, 3. Literally every one, but episode 3 and episode 9.
Oh, so you're a monster.
The worst one I could say is episode 6. But I was like, it was not. I didn't hate it. It was just like, it's kind of mid.
Mm-hmm.
I think episode 6 of this is how I felt about the zombie episode of What If. I was like, yeah, it's okay. I
also get we're judging them like on different things because you're judging them like based on the content of the episode itself. I'm judging them how well they do the premise of What If specifically. That's what I came here for.
Yeah. I think. Oh well, if we're going by like, that could be a whole different video. Because season 1's the only one that follows the direct premise of these are alternate versions of MCU events. Season 2 is alternate versions of the MCU, but they're not the way season 1 did. And season 3 is the same as well. So, but in terms of how well written they are, I think season 3 is the more well written episodes. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys. What's your favorite seasons?
Season 1.
That's season
1. I don't recall having any episode in season 1 that I hated. Like at worst, they were just okay. This season,
the worst one to me was the Killmonger episode, but that's only because it didn't really live up to the potential it set up with him meeting Tony Stark earlier.
I hated Captain Carter. I hated T'Challa. I hated Killmonger.
Oh yeah, I hated T'Challa. That was the worst episode.
Yeah, I was annoyed with Watcher broke his oath, and I thought What If Zombies was okay. Well, now I do. I don't remember what I said before.
All I can say is like
I remember you liked it. You didn't like Scott Lang his jokes, especially when he was just ahead. Yeah. But you laughed at one of them, and then you didn't like Zombie Thanos in the end. You said they ruined the episode.
Okay, that sounds right. But yeah, but like I said, I just think at the end of the day, I just like more from 3 than I do from 1. So that's
fine. I just wanted a direct comparison. And I said that's fine. I just wanted the direct comparison.
In season 2, like
I honestly looking at this, I don't think I really like any of the joke episodes. I feel like maybe the comic MCU humor is getting to my brain. I'm starting to see it, man. And I'm starting to like.
You didn't like What If Thor? I thought you liked the party episode in Thor.
No, not in season 1, season 3.
Oh, okay.
So like the Red Guardian episode. I didn't really like him joking in that. How the Doug and Darcy Lewis episode just all being jokes, basically. Like seeing them struggle to take care of baby is fine. I don't a lot of the style of humor is just not gelling me anymore.
That's fine.
If that makes sense.
That's fine.
So I can't really blame it on. Let me see. Episode 1, I didn't like. I thought it was okay. Just for the first Hulk What If episode, I think you could have did more, especially if you're actively using a older version of Hulk. Like Incredible Hulk Banner had like a lot of stuff you could have explored. I didn't like number 2, the Harkness. I didn't like number 3. 4 was okay, but I didn't like that. I didn't like the humor. That's most of the episodes. So I can't really say that. Number 5 was good. I didn't really care about episode 6 because it's not really a what if. Like you said, it's alternate timeline at that point.
Yeah.
And me knowing the story, they're trying to kind of loosely adapting. And then the hood showing here just pissed me off. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But that's just me being petty at this point. The Washington Trials, like you said, the idea behind it is good, but I don't think it's like done well. I'm fine with the team of 4 girls. It's just I don't like Birdie. So I wish it could have been anyone else, and I would have been fine.
By design, she is a comedic character, So
I like her. She's fun. She's the tech girl. She got the attitude. I like, yeah, I like it. That's just me. I don't know.
I feel like that could have been somebody.
We're getting a Marvel zombie spinoff show. Apparently, it's only going to be 4 episodes though, so I don't see the point. They should just put it here.
You know also I like about Birdie too. I thought the way they hyped her up in that last episode, she's gonna be like the god. Like she's gonna be like the
god. That's why. That's why
I expected it to be Starbread, like Cryptid said, but then when they named her Birdie and stuff like, oh, that might be the thing.
Yeah, and then they made her just like a down to earth tech girl, likes having fun. She's not perfect even at her craft, but she's very good at it. I was like, okay, I can do that. That's good.
Tevia, Birdie is the child that came out the egg for the Darcy and Howard episode.
Yeah.
This is an MCU creation. She has nothing to do with comics.
Yeah. No. I don't mind if she came back again. I ain't gonna
the offspring of a bestiality ship.
I don't know. Well, the lady who voiced her is going to be in Phanatics 4, but it's most likely not going to be this character.
No, probably not. But yeah.
All right, Critic, sorry. Let's just get the episode. Critic, give your overview. Like, what's your rating for the episode, Cryptid? Then we can end it.
My rating for the season. No, you know what? Like, even though I thought the last 2 episodes were passable, I have to give it a low 2 out of 10. Like, I didn't love any episode here, audience. I liked certain scenes in the finale, but that was it.
Car, that's actually a great quote. Credit real card.
Okay, so the Kara saying, "I'm a god. I'm Shakespeare. My biggest regret is I'll never see myself perform live."
That sounds like some peak Tony Stark stuff. Like arrogant man Tony Stark would say something like that.
Mm-hmm. That's a Clayface moment from Batman.
That's Tony Stark the type that'll be like, "Damn, my only regret is I couldn't have sex with someone as good at sex as I am." All right.
It's like the scene from Clayface in Batman the Animated Series. You know what I would have given to have a death scene like this? Too bad I won't live enough to read the notices. Wow. So yeah.
Well,
all right.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, audience, for this discussion. Oh, nice way to end the segment, Jake. Thank you, Tevia. Thank you.
Right by the. Yeah.
What?
Thank everyone for coming.
Yeah. We will see you all next year, and yeah, have a good one.
Bye.
See ya.